What's going on, everybody? I got Alec Nava here with me. It's time for the national championship game, about 5 minutes or so. It's the San Diego State Aztecs, 32-6 on the season, taking on what we know is the UConn Huskies, 30-8 on the year. Alec, I looked at the opening spread of this game. It is at 7.5 in favor of UConn. So I guess it goes to show that if San Diego State's going to win this game, my friend, they probably got to keep the score somewhere in the 60s.
Very much so of how defensively sound that they are throughout the tournament. But don't take UConn's defense lightly on the other side. They've limited their last two opponents to 59 and 54 points. 59 and 54 as I look back. 54 against Gonzaga, 54, Gonzaga, 59, Miami.
And I want to look, I know this is an easy thing to say. As I'm going through some of the San Diego State lineup, I look at their center, Nathan Mensah. Again, 6'10", 230. That's a big man, 6.6 rebounds. But can he outplay Sanogo on the other end for UConn? I know it's an easy thing to say, and it's difficult to do. But, Alec, I think that's going to be a big point in this game, whether or not San Diego State can take the victory.
And that's why he's San Diego State's X factor this game. If there's anyone who can help the team neutralize UConn's rim attack, it's Mensah. He's one of the better defensive players in the country. And the Aztecs players and coaches, they talked all week about his ability to both switch onto guards and protecting the rim against the big men. His 7'4" wingspan, that's a weapon that Norshad O'Meara and Fourth Miami, he didn't have dealing with the likes of Sanogo and Donovan Clayton in the previous match against UConn. So, and that's going to be a big ask for Mensah to match up against the UConn team that's been so dangerous throughout this tournament.
So I'm just going to go ahead for everybody on the Twitter Spaces side, on the YouTube side, or anyone else that joins in for prosperity purposes. Here's going to be the starting lineup. So we're going to start with San Diego State. It'll be Darrion Trammell, 5'10" guard, by 10 points per game. Lamont Butler was the one that hit the game winner in the previous matchup, 6'2" guard, 9 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. It'll be Matt Bradley, the do-it-all small forward, about 13 points per and 4 rebounds. He's 6'4". Keshad Johnson will play the power forward. He's 6'7", about 7.5 points per and 5 rebounds. And as we talk about with Alec, Nathan Mensah, 6'10", 230, 6 and 6 respectively. And for the UConn Huskies, it's going to sound the same because it is the same. Tristan Newton, 10 points per game, 4.5 rebounds and assists at point. Jordan Hawkins at the 2 with 16 points per game. It's Andre Jackson Jr., 7 points per and 6.5 rebounds with 5 assists. He can do a little bit of everything. Alex Caravan will play the power forward with 10 points per, 4.5 rebounds. And Adama Sanogo, he played really big in that previous matchup. We might have to do so again in that sense of it's 17 points per game and 7 rebounds. So this should be a good matchup, Alec. But again, as we talked about, San Diego State wants to get a chance to do this. They're going to have to overcome some of those points. And looking at the stats now, the last 2 wins for the Aztec couldn't be any more razor thin. They won by a combined 2 points.
I mean, a combined 2 points on their 2 previous matchups for San Diego State. The first one against Creighton and the second one against what people may consider a Cinderella story, though I don't see it as such. Plus, San Diego State did not lead at any point of the second half. No, you're not reading this wrong or hearing this wrong. FAU led the entire second half up until Lamont Butler's buzzer beater.
So we're going to get set for tip-off here. It's going to be Mensah and Sanogo. And the winner is going to claim the national championship. We are going to end the NCAA men's basketball tournament tonight. John on here with you alongside Alec Nava. It's the number 5 seeded Aztecs taking on the number 4 Huskies. Again, we haven't had any 1 or 2 seeds since the Elite 8. That was the last time going into it. There's a pocket pass that was a kickball, and this will stay with UConn. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock.
And you mentioned about no 1 or 2 seeds since the Elite 8. That was also the last time we saw a free seed as well, because Kansas State got knocked out by FAU in the Elite 8.
That's a good call by you. This is picked up now by Sanogo. Here's a chance for UConn, and they knock it down for 2, and they get on the board first. Andre Jackson Jr. with the 18-footer.
Quick start for UConn, and they want to keep this rolling here. That's what they like to do. Apply the early buckets and just never give up.
So here's admittedly my first look for San Diego State on offense, and they cash from 3. That was a big-time basket there for Lamont Butler, the man that hit the game winner. Gives the Aztecs the lead.
An unforgettable moment from him, especially since just months ago he had 2 big mistakes in an invitational that cost San Diego State a title there, but now he's redeemed himself with that buzzer beater.
A chance for Jackson and Newton. This was just uncharacteristic passing, the little butterflies, as the ball goes into a backcourt violation. It's going to be San Diego State ball.
One of the rare mistakes that you saw from UConn, a backcourt violation, and that's not seen often there. One of the rare violations that you'll see in a basketball game.
So Lamont Butler going to get a chance to take the ball from the sideline out of bounds, and he's got it now with 8 seconds to go. Shot clock down to 5 as this ball was turned over on the floor, and I think this is last touched off UConn. It was a battle for Jackson. He had some defensive pressure, but it's going to reset the shot clock here.
Yeah, it is. And you mentioned about that. So let's see who's inbounding from Miami. I may be ahead of you on this one. The officials are discussing about something. They're alongside the UConn sideline. They're trying to make sure that everything's on. Yeah, San Diego State's going to inbound from Miami. Just want to make that sense. So they're going to take care of something.
So Dan Hurley was getting a chance to look on. He's looking with the referees. And again, Alec's probably ahead of me on this one before. We were a little bit behind. So that'll be all good. He'll be able to foresee the future as far as the things that he wants to call. It's going to be 3.5 on the shot clock here off the inbound for the Aztecs.
Got to shoot it quickly here. Just a 3.5-second shot clock. Okay, they reset to 20.
So now we're going to go back to 20 here as Brian Dutcher looks on. The Aztecs have to be able to inbound this thing. They're going to loft it in toward the Final Four logo. Aztecs do get it in. They're going to try to maybe get some to the right wing side. Here's a fall-away shot at Cade for 3.
Oh, how about this from San Diego State? Putting up a little surprise here for UConn. I don't think UConn was expecting that from San Diego State, but if there's one strength that San Diego State has, it's guarding the arc. He wants to limit their opponents from 3.
So Jackson and Newton. Now Sunogo gets it tipped away, but it goes right back to Newton. They'll go throw back to Sunogo on the elbow here. He's looking to back down. Hook shot from 5. And that was pretty silky there, Alec.
They want to see more of this from Sunogo. We saw a lot of this against Miami in the Elite 8. Want to see more of this from Sunogo as the game progresses.
So there's a good-looking bounce pass. Going to give a post entry off of the fade. And San Diego State, they've been on fire early. They're up 8-4.
Oh, you think that UConn was going to go up early and stay on fire here? It's been pretty much everything offensively for both teams.
So Jackson, Hawkins, and now Sunogo. Sunogo in that same spot on the block in the post. He's going to back down, get the pass across. Here's Newton for 3. And this is off the front of the rim, trying to be tapped up in the air by the Huskies, and Sunogo can't knock it out of the hands. This will be an opportunity right to left for San Diego State to bring the ball up. They're 4 for 4 shooting right now as they have this on the right wing elbow. Mensah going to take the 2, and he's going to airball from about 12 feet. This will quickly push the other way as this is almost knocked out of Newton's hands. We're still live with a hook shot for Jackson, and that one is good with the floater. Makes it 8-6.
First 2 misses of the game there, followed up by a good hook by UConn from Andre Jackson Jr. The only player with 30-plus points, rebounds, and assists in the NCAA tournament.
Here's Bradley off the spin, fades from 18, gets the kiss off the glass. 10-6 San Diego State.
They have bounced off the rim 4 times as well.
As this is quickly pushed the other way, Newton with his pass. Sunogo thought about the 3. He'll put the ball on the deck. He's triple teamed. And Alec, you picked up on that last game that we did, San Diego State. They made no bones about what they're going to do. They're making sure Sunogo can't get post position.
And San Diego State, first team in NCAA NCAA tournament history to win an Elite Eight and a Final Four game by just 1 point. Just the third team in tournament history to win back-to-back games by a single point period as well. UConn didn't need any final minute magic as well as we get a 2-point jumper from UConn to bring it within a 1-point possession game once again.
Yeah, Newton was able to cash that one in from about 8. And now here comes San Diego State. They're rocking the black jerseys with the red piping as a 3. That was a good look off the screen, and Sonogo will clean up the pumpkin. Put this across here for Newton. Here's a long outstretched pass, and it didn't connect with Caravan. That's a careless turnover.
Oh, that one was a catchable ball as well. But Caravan just had that one deflected off his fingertips.
So as we go to commercial break, we're in the 15:47 marker. It's a 10-8 lead for SDS.
There you go.
So I'm pretty excited about this one here, Alec. When we talk about it, and I looked at some of these stats here for San Diego State, they're as a team maybe shoot, and I'm ballparking here a little bit, maybe between 33 to 35%, maybe even a little less in comparison to what UConn's been able to feature. But early on throughout this game, I know it's very early on at 15:47, they're 2 of 3 from distance, and they're going to make the Huskies have to respect them from outside.
Very sure. As we pointed out about San Diego State's 3-point defense. That's something that they have liked using throughout their time. And UConn on the other side, they're trying to finish in style. It's very important to know that this run by UConn is no fluke. They are just loaded. Their run at the Phil Knight Invitational at the beginning of the season had many believing that this was the best team in the nation. Then as they struggled, Alabama and Houston began to take some of the attention away from them. Even Marquette was picked to win it all more frequently than UConn. But Dan Hurley is this guy rallying at the right possible time.
No, I agree with you, especially from the last game that you and I covered together. It was a treat to pretty much watch this team run offense. And now you want to see if you can run the gauntlet because, as we said, you can talk about it in any sport, between football, basketball, pro, everything else. When you get to this stage, Alec, it's really hard to get here, and only one team can win it all. So no matter what happens tonight, it's going to be an historic run for both of these teams. And UConn, they've certainly been giving other teams the business, but I just can't get over the fact 2 1-point wins back-to-back for San Diego State on that side. And, I mean, my goodness, when you think about it, how rare that is, and then just be able to get to a first Elite Eight, a first Final Four, and now a championship berth. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, especially since you shut down the consensus best player in the NCAA in Brandon Miller and limiting him to 9 points, and then going on to make this special run. You deserve to be here if you're San Diego State.
Yeah, I think you couldn't ask for much more. We always talk about March Madness and what it can bring. And we know that there's upsets, but the main thing when there is upsets, when you and I are covering a game, broadcasting, anyone watching, you want to see a good competitive game. You don't want to see blowouts in one way or another. And as you said, both of these teams deserve to be here, and both of these teams look to be bringing their best so far early with 15:47 in the first.
You know what's more special about this game this far? 8 different players have made all 8 baskets by this point. We'll see when this trend breaks. You see who gets on the board as this time goes on.
That's a fantastic point by you. Probably one of my favorite ones during this whole broadcast is how many teams can say that. There's so many teams that have a just option A, and then when you take that away, what's left? You need team scoring. It's a team game. And that's what we're doing right now. So San Diego State Aztecs try to bring this up right to left, and they'll pass this into the post. This will be a chance from Bradley to Mensah, and he has a high hook. This was a good contest, and we'll see if this is going to go the other way. 15:28 left to go in the first. It'll be set to inbound again.
Yeah, it's UConn's ball, and I believe that last hook was by Aguek Arop, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska, trying to stuff that in. Couldn't do so.
So I'll have to make sure that I take a look at Arop on that side because I know he is the backup big that they'll try to give some time to as this is put out now. Picked up toward a drive here for Newton. And are they calling a charge? Yes, they are. Great work by Darrion Trammell as he forces the turnover.
There was this one guy from Kansas last year that drew a lot of charges in the national championship game against UNC. And here comes Trammell drawing the charge against Tristan Newton, and that's a successful draw on offensive foul.
When you think about that, Alec, there's not too many of those that are always very clean. I think that was one of the easier calls to make as Trammell will make this pass across and will also be picked up by Arop. Trying to get around the inside in a pass. He almost got rejected. He did get rejected there by Sanogo, and this will go the other way. Great defense by the big man.
As we pointed out, UConn's defense is nothing to take lightly. Here comes Adama Sanogo. If you think that he can do it in the offensive end, try his defense. Test him, and that's the end result.
And also on the other end, when they get into the backup, you have the 7'2" Donovan Klingen, who we profiled in the Final Four matchup. He had a pretty good game as well as they try to get Sanogo on the post. He's surrounded by a bunch of Redwoods. Doesn't matter. Hooks it in and ties the game at 10.
It feels like no matter how many bodies you put on Sanogo, he's just going to find a way. He's been that dominant for UConn this year.
Yes, he has been, as Lamont Butler is going to give up the basketball. This is picked up now by LeDee. And so throw this one inside. Caravan trying to get around Arop, and then now he gets another opportunity. This one gets swatted. He gets it back. Ball gets picked up in the air. And now UConn has it, and they get fouled as they cross the timeline.
Excellent defense by UConn to stop not one, not two, but 3 opportunities for San Diego State to try and get back the lead right up here. Sanogo on the other side, double team. He doesn't care about your double teams. He's just going to power on through. And on the other side, that's Adam Seiko, who's coming off the bench right at half court, and he gets the foul here.
So a chance now for Jackson. He's at the Final Four logo. He's going to be able to give this ball up as he gets it back from Newton. He's got it again. Pass inside Sanogo, and somebody forgot to pick him up at the rim. That's an easy 2.
Maybe it's just a ground pass that Jackson found Sanogo right on through. And, man, I think, you pointed out, somebody forgot to pick him up. Somebody did forget to pick him up.
That would almost seem like a kickball violation there, Alec. I know it wasn't called, but...
Yeah, I saw it too. I wonder what was the official call. What was the call there, but yes, UConn will take it.
So Butler now has the basketball. He's going to run some point. It was a 4-for-5 start. Now it's 0-for-5 for the Aztecs. They can't afford that against this team. His turnaround, lost the dribble, and now the travel violation on the other end. Aztecs didn't have anywhere to go as UConn continues to lock up with another possession.
And there's the other big man, Donovan Klingen, forcing that travel from Jaedon LeDee, who is, in fact, playing in his hometown of Houston, Texas. How about that?
Very cool on that side for LeDee. He's been able to get double-digit points here, especially off the bench, and they're going to need that. And what I like to see, I know we can call out there for Klingen when you have that size mismatch, Alec, no need to leave your feet. Just keep your hands up.
Definitely so.
As this is picked up off the sideline, and now Jackson has it. He gets a screen for Klingen as this will be a pass inside off the bounce. He misses this off the front of the rim. And now the Aztecs have an opportunity to push or slow it down if they want. As now Arop has the ball at the top of the key. They haven't had a basket in about 3:30 are the Aztecs. They need this off the step back. Missed it off the front of the rim, tapped up in the air, and this one will go to the Huskies as they have a 4-on-3. Klingen, are they going to draw another charge? Yes, they are. The Aztecs with some big defense.
And guess who? The guy who hit the buzzer beater, Lamont Butler, drawing the charge this time.
You want to take the charge on the big man. You might pay the price when it hits you right in the chops, but I love that effort.
Get in position and then have both your hands right on your lap and then take the contact. Sometimes it takes a sacrificial effort to draw the charge there.
So 4 turnovers for the Huskies, just 1 for the Aztecs, but the turnover problem is not a problem for the Aztecs. They need points. as this is picked up now toward the top of the key. Looking for an entry pass for Bradley. He'll fade away. An exceedingly difficult shot from about 18, and Newton will corral the mess. Take this left to right here for the UConn Huskies. They're in the white jerseys with the red and black piping on the pants. As this is thrown back out there. Calcaterra now inside to Klingon. He's got a size mismatch here if he wants a good kick out for three. Missed it off the front of the rim. What a rebound for Newton as he keeps the shot clock alive. A floating attempt is going to miss there for Calcaterra on the other end as it's down to 12 minutes here in the first. The Aztecs missed their last 7 shots. They have the basketball now. They're only down 2. Here's a three-point attempt on the right wing, and this gets saved and re-corralled by Newton. As the Huskies have it now, toward the top of the key, looking for a screen, and on the right wing side. Good defense, as Newton's going to have to back this one all the way up. Shot clock down to 15. It's a 12-10 game with 11:35 left to go in the first half. Drawn here within the play-by-play, being drawn by Alec Nava for this national championship. It's a 5-minute scoreless drought for the Aztecs. Lob opportunity! And that one's finished off by Klingon.
How about that lob and the finish? That's a sweet feed from Calcaterra to Creighton. What a combo there that UConn has off their bench.
Aztecs need to get something here. As Trammell will put the ball on the floor, gets it stripped by Klingon, and Calcaterra picks it up. Here's a chance now, Newton. Calcaterra will go to the lane through the contact, and it's a blocking foul. This one will not be a charge.
Oh, then, if you're UConn, Byrd times a charm, and not getting a charge here as Alec's caravan driving right to the nets and then trying to get the layup right in. And yet, as you point out, blocking foul. Probably if San Diego State was to get a charge there, probably it wasn't in the right position to get a charge there.
I agree with you. And when we look at the score line here, with 11 minutes left to go in the first, it's 14-10 Huskies over the Aztecs. So here's one thing we can say that's positive for the Aztecs. They're slowing down the Huskies' offense. But Alec, they're not creating anything right now. And this is about 5.5 minutes without a basket.
Yeah, and those same 5.5 minutes without a basket, UConn has scored the last 8 points.
So we will have to see if that is going to change. San Diego State just shooting 4 of 13. On the other end, the Huskies, nothing wrong with their offense, 7 out of 11. They've had some good balanced scoring, but again, it's Sanogo with 6. And on the other end, as Alec talked about, you've had several different players scoring for the Aztecs, 4 of them to be exact. 2 of them are three-pointers. And we will see what the rest of the first half brings us as we are into a commercial break.
And as you pointed out, the only 2 three-pointers came from San Diego State's Trammell and Butler, as it is. UConn has not made a single three-pointer, but that doesn't appear to be a problem. They've adjusted well to San Diego State's three-point defense.
Yeah, they've adjusted well so far. Full credit on that. I was looking, just like you, on that side of it, and between what could be a tell of the tape in this game. The Huskies certainly have that size again with Sanogo and Klingon, and it seems like they're using that a little bit early. Again, that is no surprise, but you think with that 7.5-point spread favorite for UConn, you imagine that's where the bread's buttered, that's where they're going to go, and maybe try to get a victory out of this. Again, San Diego State's played some good defense, but they've got to find within this next 11 minutes in this first half, I would say probably, Alec, try to get to 25 points at the half, maybe more. I know that sounds like a low total, but considering the way that they started, that would be a hell of a turnaround.
That is what I can see realistically between both these teams, given how defensively sound they have been. I don't know if there's going to be a team I don't know if either one of these 2 teams are going to even reach 70 points by the end of this game. These 2 teams have been good defensively.
I agree with you, and I think Clark Kellogg, I saw he made a point on the pregame side before I was getting ready for all this. He said, look for a scoreline in the 60s. I think that goes more along toward your point. That's the way that San Diego State could win this one, but maybe the first to 60 might be the one that wins this game, as Jim Hurley is getting an interview there for Tracy Wolfson. Dan Hurley, excuse me, on that side. And we're just going to be set to getting underway here in about 30 seconds.
And as is mentioned beforehand, in our earlier cast between UConn and Miami in the Final Four, his son Andrew's on the team as a depth bench player.
He was able to get some time, a couple minutes in the final stretch of that game against the Hurricanes when it was well out of reach. We will see if UConn can put this in the same boat right now. It's exactly 11 minutes left to go in the first half. John, I'm here with you alongside Alec Nava as we're in NRG in Houston, Texas, as Caravan's at the line to shoot a pair. He's knocked down the first.
So there's the first free throw by Alex Caravan, who is so looking right here, he's a 40% three-point shooter, one of two sharp shooters on this team alongside Joey Calcaterra.
Yeah, when you have him at 40 and Calcaterra more close to a 45, you have absolute snipes, and you combine that with Sonogo, that can make them very dangerous when you're looking to try to get stops. It's a very difficult task.
Very difficult task, and there's a very shocking similarity between this year's UConn and the UConn from 12 years ago when they played Houston in the Final Four, and they faced San Diego State in the tournament. They were,
Good defense. Here's a chance. Calcaterra off the lane. He missed it. And this is saved before going out of bounds. San Diego State, they could have some opportunities here off the push. They're going to attack the big man with the hands up. And I think this one is going to go against Klingon.
Yeah, it is going to go against Klingon because he was trying to defend that, put his hands up to they're trying to stop that or block that. Instead, gets the foul. That was Keshad Johnson drawing the contact from Klingon.
So Keshad Johnson, about 6 points in this tournament per game, 44% shoot, about 4.5 rebounds. A little bit of everything here for Keshad. You have to do that. You're a 6'7" guard playing the forward position. Again, in college, that's okay, but when you think about that in the NBA terms, you need to be able to really spread the floor with the outside shot. But again, in between college and pros, it's a very much a different game. Even from high school to college on that side, every level gets increasingly difficult. Keshad Johnson knocks down both, and there was a screen leveling and before we got a bounce pass in here for the Huskies, and now they'll go left to right. Klingon's got 2 fouls. That could be in a development here, Alec.
But then keep an eye on this because foul trouble could be something that both teams can run into when both these teams are playing very good defense.
So Newton now off the step back. We'll leave this here for Elena, who's just checked in, gets a pass from Sonogo. And now here's a chance for Newton off the front of the rim, try to get saved by Sonogo. He moved it all around, but this will be picked up. And now a double team immediately at the timeline, and we'll see what the possession arrow is going to be.
It's a jump ball, and San Diego State will retain possession.
Good-looking defense there, and I know Alec called this when we got into the Final Four side of it, thinking about the matchup. San Diego State can certainly bring the pain on the defensive end, and they've needed to as their offense has gone cold.
There you go. San Diego State really needs a spark on offense aside from those 2 free throws from Keshad Johnson. They have gone 0 for 9 in field goals ever since starting 4 for 5.
So desperately looking for a basket here unless they can continue to pigeonhole UConn here and shut them down. They've done about a good job as you can. Top of the key for 3 off the screen. That was a little bit of a force. And that's an easy rebound and clear for UConn as Newton can push this the other way. Wide open as Jackson doesn't take the 3. Instead, they'll move it around the horn to the Huskies off the jump stop. Wow, what a shot. Cans it from 15 feet.
I mean, that was quite the step back from UConn. And when I think of UConn, I'm always reminded of Kemba Walker and his run over back in those days.
This is a pickup for the top of the key. Alpha entry pass in the post, and this gets taken away by UConn. As they'll bounce it toward the right wing side, here's an opportunity there. Jackson with this pass into Sonogo at the top of the key. Give it to Jackson. He's got the lane. Kisses it off the glass and in. It's 20-12.
And make that a 14-2 scoring run for UConn. And if I'm Brian Dutcher, I would want to use a timeout here. After the Huskies faithful, they're all going crazy back at stores at the campus.
Jordan Hawkins with a couple back-to-back baskets, and indeed, that was a clear call by you, Alec. That is what the timeout's going to be on the other end, and we will see if Brian Dutcher can organize something. Again, we can talk about offense as much as we want right now. San Diego State can't find anything. You mentioned the 4 for 5 essentially a start, and now they're 0 of their last 12, and they've also turned the ball over several times. So this is getting to be a danger territory here. 8 points doesn't sound like a lot, but when I just mentioned in the previous break about 3 minutes ago, trying to get to 25 points, maybe I even overshot it a little bit for the Aztecs.
Oh, maybe you may have overshadowed that a little bit. And I may know because I may have missed out on Patrick's show just an hour earlier on the sports rant on the prediction for this game. But I was taking UConn to win this because if I'm San Diego State, defense can only do so much against what has been the best team of the entire tournament.
We would be in lockstep on that side, my friend, as far as taking UConn. No disrespect to the Aztecs whatsoever. But every single person on the CBS crew, again, that's including Clark Kellogg, Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, everyone else like that, they all took UConn in this game for the reasons that you mentioned. The offense is going to be too unstoppable at times. And as you said, defense can only do so much if you can't put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, for sure. And something to know here, if UConn were to hang on and win this, they'll pretty much have a weird 25-year run. 5 national titles since 1999, 5 conference titles. They missed the tournament 8 times, 7 times not out the first weekend, and 3 title games against a 5 seed or worse. But this run should not be taken lightly.
Right.
Like San Diego State was hyped up to be a very good defensive team, but the previous week, this was the first time that it gave them at least 70 points in the entire tournament. That's the first time that we've seen this from San Diego State. Charleston gave them a run for their money. Creighton did as well. So did FAU. And UConn's their biggest test. Yeah. We all thought it would be Alabama, but it's turned out to be UConn.
No, you're right. And again, I want to just, because to your point, it's correct. Doesn't matter who you end up playing. If you get that for the reason, it's about finishing the job, Alec. And a lot of these teams don't do that. But for UConn, here's a reason you can say why. They're in their 5th national championship game in school history. You want to know what their record is before that coming in? 4-0. They're perfect.
Yep. They're undefeated in national championship games, and they look to continue having that stay that way.
And they're in a good spot right now. They're up 20-12. Again, they started 6 of 10 shooting twos in a 14-2 run, 0 of 1 for 3. It doesn't matter for UConn. They know where the bread is better on the inside, but 0 of 6 from 2 here for San Diego State as well. That's a problem. There was a wide open look that wasn't taken by Mensah. And now they'll try to get this off with a difficult step back from 18. That seemed like another forced shot as Sanogo cleans up the miss. Here comes Jackson, quickly left to right. He's got it now at the top of the key. He gets a screen from Sanogo as this is put back up now here for Watson. Picked up by Sanogo at the top of the key now. 15 seconds to go on that shot clock. As this is a jump stop pass, Hawkins is going to let one go, and he's got 6 straight points. 22-12, Huskies up by 10.
If that timeout doesn't do anything for San Diego State, I'm starting to wonder how much San Diego State can do up against this very talented UConn team. But it seems like it's too much to not enough.
Absolutely. This misses off the front of the rim. And Alec, we just saw this go across our screen. It's almost 9 minutes without a basket for the Aztecs.
Goodness.
And Newton now at the right wing side. It seems like the Huskies can do no wrong as they just continue to bleed this clock away. Hawkins for 3 off the front of the rim. And this will get picked up here by SDS. They got this now. Here's a right wing 3 again. And let's see what the call is going to be on the floor. That was Bradley that took it.
It's a foul on UConn for the shooting foul. And this one was behind the arc. something that you do not want to do if you're either team. Foul someone behind the arc, and that means is that you would give if the player that you're fouling 3 shots. That's charity strike.
We go to yet another commercial break at 7:21 in the first. It's been with 3 in the last 5 minutes, so mercifully, maybe they're trying to do everything they can to slow down the UConn Huskies offense.
Everything they possibly can. And I think Brian Dutcher, he needed that TV timeout because this has gone nightmarish for the Aztecs in the first half.
Yeah, Alec, I would just be picking this off the top of my head, and we'd probably be grasping at straws, but I can't think of too many times, especially on this stage, where an opponent goes over 10 minutes without a basket. That's absolutely incredible because, again, they're 32-6 on the year.
It's just insane to think about this. I don't know when the last time this has happened in a national championship game, but it's just, wow.
That's really all you can say, and I'll make sure within the game story when we get the play-by-play and everything else put in, I'll try to look it up and see what I can find definitively because this has to be one of the all-time stretches. But Alec, I'll play devil's advocate here. We know the offensive struggles, but if you're going to tell me that you go 10 and a half minutes without a basket and you're only down 10, wouldn't you take that?
Well, if I'm UConn and their defense, any day of the week, if I can limit them to 10 minutes without a basket, hey, anything helps.
And again, I just want to throw this out there for the SDSU side. I want to play devil's advocate, like I mentioned, because we got the UConn side. But if you're only down 10 and you haven't scored in 10 and a half minutes, if you're San Diego State, you think it could be a lot worse than 22-12, correct?
It could be, given that how the pace that UConn plays.
That's what I was going for on that side. So we got both of those squared away. 7:21 left to go in the first as we're going to get back within the commercial break. Again, we're in Houston, Texas, and we're going to see who's going to win this national title right now. As we said going into it, the Huskies were 7.5-point favorites. Well, certainly you can see why. I don't think Alec and I or anyone else that's watching or listening to this could have expected such an ice-cold stretch. I get that the Aztecs aren't the greatest three-point shooting team, but they do have some size inside. When you think about even Matt Bradley at the small forward or Mensah, the 6'10", 230, they've just not been able to throw their weight down in the paint.
I mean, not at all. When you look at it, Mensah, Bradley, you name any of those players from San Diego State, and it's just a bunch of nothing for them. Yeah. They just had 2 points in their last 9 minutes and 8 seconds. This is all there is to it. Not a single one of those 2 points was by a field goal.
And now we're going to try to go ahead and see if Bradley can at least provide a sense of relief at the free throw line. Essentially, these are all must makes. I will say that right now with 7:21 in the first as he hits the first.
And that's the birth of what resumed his free throw shots because he was fouled behind the arc.
That's what I see right now on the ESPN ticker. And we will do this again here for Bradley, and he misses the second. He's got one more coming. Again, for San Diego State, they finally get a point, but as Alec said, it's been about 10 and a half minutes for the Aztecs as far as getting a basket. They came out like gangbusters, hitting a couple threes, and at least UConn, to their credit, they matched that brevity as far as that push, but now it's just been a slugfest in the sense of UConn just taking out the punishment on San Diego State. So Bradley makes 2 out of 3 from the line. UConn trying to go 5-0 in national championship games. It's 7:10 left to go in the first round. I'm here with you as this one's picked up inside. Alec Nava joins me, and this is a foul against the Aztecs. Sonogo picks it up.
And he's going to the line once again. Adama Sonogo, who is averaging 76% on the charity strike, as he drew the contact from Mensah right in the arm.
When I saw that entry pass there, Alec, again, I see defense for San Diego State, but they just arrived a little too late, allowed them to be able to catch the ball clean and force a foul.
Pretty much.
Sunogo makes the first. He's got an opportunity for the second. And as Alec was talking about on the side for Sunogo, he's a guy that can hurt you from inside. He can get the rebound. He can also hurt you from outside. We saw it in the first half. His first 2 shots from the top of the key for 3, he knocked them both down. Sunogo splits the pair. Try to get saved by Jackson, and Lamont Butler will bring this across as the Aztecs have got to get something going. They're 4 for 5 from the line, 3 for 4 are the Huskies, as this is picked up now by the Aztecs, and now Mensah trying to get around Caravan. Another pass for Butler. It's been help all over the place for the Huskies as they're kind of swarming right now. Off the hook, fake pass, and this bounced off the head of one of the Huskies. Doesn't matter. They're going to pick it up. As Jackson will get this across. Hawkins off the screen. Hits the 3 from the right wing.
On one end, you got San Diego State trying to do too much offensively with that extra pass. I felt like you should have taken the shot right there.
Yeah.
There on the other side, UConn makes them pay with that 3-pointer.
So over 10 minutes, we've talked about it. It's at 10-18 right now, and it keeps growing. Offensive opportunity and a foul called on the floor against the Huskies.
And I think San Diego State needs this because they need points. And I mean points badly. Any type of points to get back within this game because it's been getting out of hand in favor of UConn. And any points that San Diego State puts up, they will have to and they will take it against this extremely talented UConn team.
So Nathan Mensah, again, we talk about it, 6'10", 230. He's 0 for 4 shooting. He does have 3 rebounds. Got to make both of these. First one is up and good for the Aztecs. They need one more to try to get within 10. And I keep trying to move the scoring total in my mind as this game continues. I thought maybe first to 60. Now I'm thinking maybe first to 50. And UConn is well on their way as San Diego State has provided nothing on that other end. They split the pair. This one gets picked up by Sunogo, but this will stay with the Huskies.
Yeah, the ball was rolling out of bounds. It was last touched by one of the Aztecs. And for Mensah, that was his first point of this game. He's 0 for 4 shooting on the night. He needs to convert those field goals. And I can say the same for the rest of San Diego State. They really need those points. They're 4 for 18 shooting on the night. Good Lord.
4 for 18 and 6 turnovers. We just saw the graphic on there, Alec, and that is just dreadful. Here's a long opportunity for Calcaterra. He's trying to put the dagger in early. And now a battle on the floor. We'll see who's last touched. It was a bowling pin inside for Sunogo as he knocked down a couple Aztecs.
Oh yeah. You couldn't have described it any better there. It was pretty much like a bowling alley right there. Players bowling down left and right between Sunogo and LeDee and Arop and UConn coming out with that. Arop trying to steal that on away. Goodness.
And Sunogo looked like he might have got undercut a little bit at the basket, but good defense by the Aztec. Quick trigger 3, missed it off the front of the rim. Arop trying to get the rebound. Where is it going to go? Hurley wants it to go the other way for UConn as somebody lost a shoe.
Yeah, that appears to be Caravan that lost their shoe at the other end of the court. And as UConn had that last touch on the out of bounds, Caravan, yeah, he lost it when Arop was all over him. Well, that was a weird sequence.
5:32 left in the first half. It's going to be San Diego State basketball. They're down 26-15. They've been stuck on the teenage digit marker here. I can say now they got 17 points off of the floater. It is 26-17. 5:15 in the first. Darrion here with you alongside Alec Nava as this is picked up by Sunogo at the top of the key. Off the screen, here's an opportunity for Watson put on the floor. Series of spins. And what a make as he hits it from 13 feet.
The good news, San Diego State, you made your first basket in 11 minutes. The bad news, spinorama by UConn leading to a basket of their own.
And now here's a turnover. Newton gets it off the fast break lay-in.
Oh my goodness. Words cannot describe how much this is, how ugly in the first half. San Diego State, and for them, time is not on their side.
Honestly, Alec, I could not agree with you more. I think when people look at this off the outset and they think 4:29 in the first half, there's so much time left and another half to play. But Mr. Alec Nava, I don't see it on the other end for San Diego State right now. They just look lost.
I mean, this is pretty much the opposite of what I'm seeing from San Diego State throughout their previous 5 games. Would it be from the first round or the Final Four? San Diego State needs to figure it out. This is not FAU. This is UConn you're facing.
Absolutely. Newton off the pocket pass, long 3, and he knocks it down.
Oh, this guy is on fire. Tristan Ewan has the makings of a point guard, and his assist numbers show why. So he can also knock down big threes when needed. And there he is.
Butler gotta have it. And the Aztecs, they finally get a field goal from distance.
They needed that. But Lamont Butler, his second three-pointer of the night. If they want to get back into this game, gotta make the quick adjustments and fast.
So Sonogo, now for Calcaterra, as this gets stripped away, this should be a fast break lay-in for the Aztecs, and they can't complete it. They blow the buddy, and now a fast break opportunity. Calcaterra off the pass. It's good.
I'm just confused. How do you miss a layup if you're San Diego State on that one end after getting a prime steal from that? I'm so discombobulated about that. Then on the other side, Calcaterra gets a great screen. And then, here they go again.
That one just went off the foot of Sonogo. And Alex, some of these shots from UConn, I know they're in rhythm, but these are NBA range three-pointers. This looks like NBA Jam.
It feels that way as well. Is UConn playing in a video game right now, NBA 2K, College Edition?
This is absolutely nuts on that side. It is now a 16-point advantage. And not only has San Diego State hurt themselves with some poor shooting, again, 26%, 6 of 23, 15 of 24 on the other side for 62%. But not only has it been poor shooting now it's starting to look like turnovers for the Aztecs.
Yeah, the poor shooting and the turnovers for San Diego State, it has been plaguing them throughout this game. And that could be a nail biter if they end up losing here. Listen, last year we saw Kansas coming back from down 15 to beat UNC. This year, I don't know if that same story is gonna pop up.
I'm not a betting man, Alec, on that side, but I'm going to venture and I'd throw my chips on the table and go all in and say no. I don't see an upset coming. Again, we keep talking about in the commercial break for good reason. Where is the Aztecs offense going to come from? And we've tried to talk about maybe some inside opportunities on the other end. For Mensah, that's been canceled out. Butler, he's hit a pair of threes, but that's essentially almost been the only offense for the Aztecs. And even on the fast break, when they get the steal, they couldn't convert the layup.
I mean, that, 3 missed layups in the game?
Yeah.
That's what I am seeing at.
So it just doesn't put you in a situation where you have any chance to come back. And as you said and duly noted, it's not all these other teams you're playing against. You're playing against the UConn Huskies. So if you have one of your most poor games of the tournament, it's going to be lights out here really quickly.
Very much so.
So we are in the middle of a commercial break. And again, we will give you the reset. 2:55 left to go in this first. It has been all Huskies, especially over the last 3 minutes or so. It's been a pair of threes that honestly feel like kill shots. Again, I don't want to venture too far in saying so, but you have Newton with 9 points. You have both Hawkins and Sonogo with 7. And just count that by itself. That is more than the Aztecs even have in between those 3 players. So that really does tell you the story of the game at this point.
I mean, it's just pretty much a total mismatch between these two teams when you compare the totals between Ewing, Hawkins, and Sunogo and the entirety of San Diego State's team. None of San Diego State's bench players even have a point.
No, I mean, if you're at a point now, Alec, and I'll just say this, I understand college basketball lineups maybe only stretch 7 or 8 games, especially when you get this far in the tournament, or 7 or 8 deep, I mean. You might have to just run your starters ragged if that's the best opportunity you think you have of scoring. I'm just going to throw it out there. As this is now checked back into the action off the layup too strong, and Klingon gets the mess. And mercy me, if this gets to a 20-point game in the first half, I really don't know what else to tell everybody between listening or following along on Twitter Spaces and YouTube or whenever you do pick this up, because this just looks one-sided. Open three, and this is off the front of the rim. That was some great ball movement by the Huskies, looking to push the pace or the Aztecs. Try to get to the rim, and looks like the ball will stay here. Lane was a little bit late in trying to draw the charge.
And that was a hard foul by both of these sides. When you look at this hard foul on the play there, and Elaine went down trying to draw the charge. Well, I respect the defensive effort.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to draw the contact and get your opponent to foul. It doesn't happen here, but I respect that effort.
Pinned at the front of the rim off the bounce pass. Klingon says no, and now we go left to right. 2:05 left to go now for an easy look inside. Caravan gets it knocked away. Second effort. Good defense by the Aztecs. Can they turn this into points? Instead, they look to slow it down. That's going to allow the Huskies to reset. I don't know if that's a great decision. There's a lob, and Klingon saw it all the way. I just didn't like that pullback. You got to push the pace here if you get that steal.
I mean, I don't know what that pass was too. Maybe they could have elevated that pass. Oh, this ball's rolling. No. Still, you could have elevated that pass and try and get to your target.
I agree with you. The one rolled off the rim for the Huskies. Aztecs missed again, and now it's going to be 129 in the first. I felt like I've said that a lot in my apologies. I'm going to have to try using miss and brick and all the other adjectives that you can use, Alec, but we're going to run out of words here because San Diego State, it looks like Ice Age right now.
I mean, UConn's gone on a 30-10 run ever since trailing 10-6. That just goes to show how dominant they have been. 7 different players have had a field goal made for UConn. San Diego State, 6 field goals made entirely.
That is absolutely incredible. I don't even know what to say about that. As this is picked up now, Johnson got to make something happen. Contested from 20 feet. He made a tough basket there. The Aztecs need it right now. They don't care how they get it. It's 36-22, Keshad Johnson. And now it is 55 seconds left to go. And a timeout here for Hurley. He'll talk it over in the final minute and set up a basket.
And Keshad Johnson needed that. His team down 16. Any way that you can get these buckets, no matter if it's tight or if it's wide open, you got to have them. And Johnson with the deep 2 to get at San Diego State within 14 right now. Maybe they could not have come back, maybe not, but the odds are definitely not in their favor.
No, they're not. And I do want to repeat what the stat that Alec just brought to us again, just to hammer this in the minds of everybody. Up to that point of the Johnson basket before that, it was 6 baskets for the Aztecs in entirety. 7 different UConn players have already scored. That is something you may never hear again in a national championship game.
No, I don't think so that you can ever hear that again in a national championship game again, unless if by some miracle it happens in the near or distant future in that sense. But, man, this is just straight up unbelievable.
It really is. And again, Dan, early on that side, you have to just, when you get into that locker room with the lead, you still have to hammer away all those fine points. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't turn the ball over and this and that. But you got to feel like he's been pretty happy There's a turnover there, but he's been pretty happy with what his team's been doing in the first half.
Man, well, San Diego State, they're looking for buckets. They've got one here.
They got one from about 18 feet there, back-to-back mid-range answers. And this is an opportunity for UConn to pretty much bleed out this clock. They should do it, about a 3 seconds difference. This is a chance now for Jackson. He's got it at the Final Four logos. Now it's down to 7. Open toward the right wing side was Watson, but they're really just going to bleed this one out. Watson going at the big man, misses it off the front of the rim, almost goaltending the basket. Sanogo missed the easy one, and that is going to end the first half. San Diego State does get back-to-back baskets, but they still got a mountain to climb here, Alec. They're down 36-24.
UConn's been so successful historically, both men's and women's basketball, and we may be seeing why they have been so successful. Remember all those years when we all think that UConn win a women's championship?
Yeah.
Well, it seems the men are following in kind right here. Under quest to go a perfect 5-0 in the men's national championship.
And you're right. And you got to feel good about, again, I don't know how long Dan Hurley is signed for as far as Huskies head coach, but you got to think whenever you deliver yourself, you're halfway there to a national championship. Let's say he gets one. You're going to get yourself a long-term contract extension, and the program and the fans and everyone else around there are going to be really happy. We know UConn's a basketball factory, and as you said, you think about that more alongside the women, but this could be a big-time opportunity for the men to deliver something here. And right now, I'm not going to say they're punking the Aztecs because they did get back-to-back mid-range baskets, but that seemed to be a clinic in the first half. One more of those, Alec, and I think that this is going to be comfortably in the hands of the Huskies unless the Aztecs can find some type of push that they haven't found in this game yet.
And Zach's saying that last year Kansas was down by 15 at the half and won, but this is an entirely different scenario here. Because UNC was winning because Kansas was running into foul trouble early on. But here, this is a complete mismatch between both these teams.
I agree with you. That's what I'm seeing right now. Again, we have a light scoreboard as far as the NHL side of it, Alec, but do you want to take a look at that and let me know what you see?
Yeah, just 3 games and something is no NBA games today because I think everyone in the NBA is tuning into the men's national championship. And I want to get to NHL first before we get on to MLB and eventually the women's national championship because there's something to be said about that. So over to the NHL first. Right now, the Minnesota Wild up 3-2 against the Vegas Golden Knights in a very tight Western Conference. The Golden Knights have already clinched their playoff spot. They are leading in the Pacific Division. The Wild would be 4th if they were lying in the Pacific Division, as they are leading the Central Division with 97 points. Vegas has 101 points. Third place in the Pacific belongs to the Edmonton Oilers at 99 points. So the goals by Vegas come from Kagan Kolesar and Pavel Dorofeyev. For Minnesota, it's Brandon Duhaime, John Klingberg, and Matt Boldy, who scored with 41 seconds left in the second half. They're in the middle of the third period right now. Minnesota up 25-18 in shots. It's Philip Gustafson in net for Minnesota and Laurent Brossoit for Vegas. Over to the Metroplex, where it's the Dallas Stars up 3-0 on the Nashville Predators. A rematch of the 2019 first-round series between these two teams. Rope hits, Colin Miller and Joe Pavelski have the goals for the Stars. And as of right now, Scott Wedgwood writing a 19-save shutout in net for Nashville's Yusei Saros. He's allowed 3 goals on 15 shots. The only other game that's going on right now, the Seattle Kraken and Arizona Coyotes. They're just 5 minutes in, and already Jordan Eberle has a power play goal to his resume, 17th of the season with Daniel Sprong and Justin Schultz. So that's your NHL scoreboard right there for hockey fans around on the North America.
I just want to go to a couple things before we move on to the MLB scoreboard. So, not a lot of matchups, as Alex said, but a couple of them very critical in the Central Division alongside the Minnesota Wild. Again, they're trying to fight for first place. Look, nobody wants to play against the Colorado Avalanche in the first round, and you can certainly tell that for the Dallas Stars as well, as they're up 3-0 on the Preds. And for the Preds, again, they still have a couple games in hand on the Jets and the Flames, who now all of a sudden can't stop winning games. So it's very important that the Preds try to find a way, but I just don't think they're going to do so right now. Now with a 3-0 lead, and especially for Wedgwood, it's very important that he is back and healthy to give Jake Ottinger a blow before playoff times is officially underway.
Very much so, as Wedgwood, the backup goalie to Ottinger, and yep, enough rest for Ottinger to get ready and suit up.
Yeah, because you could have, again, there's a lot left to be desired in the Central, but you could have a first-round matchup in between Dallas and Colorado, and if that's the case, sign me up. I think it's going to be a good one. I'll get into the MLB finals, and if you want to have some comments for the NCAA women's tournament, I'd love to hear some of them because I know that there's a little bit of controversy there, but I'll throw this out very quickly. I'll just do the scores. So the Pirates won 7-6 over the Red Sox. Red Sox have been scoring a ton of runs, but they just were able to lose a game at Fenway by a run as the Pirates pulled it out. Tampa Bay Rays are 4-0 on the season. You couldn't ask for a softer serve schedule, starting with the Tigers and then the Washington Nationals, but you got to win your games. You won 6-2. The Yankees all over the Phillies. Alec, the Phillies haven't won a game yet.
Well, that's a surprising twist from where they were last year when they made the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And man, not even winning a game thus far, and then allowing that blowout to the Texas Rangers, who acquired Jacob deGrom over the offseason. I don't know what to do well, by this point, there's no time to turn around for the Phillies, but man, this is not the best start for them.
No, admittedly, as Alec said, it'd probably be a tough part of the schedule because the Rangers can really hit. They got Bruce Bochy now for the manager's side. Then you play the Yankees. That's tough. But 0-4, I certainly wouldn't have expected that either. Another one that just went final, the Royals, maybe all they needed was to not play the Twins anymore. They get their first win of the year. They win 9-5. They beat the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are 1-3 as well. The Twins are 4-0 on the year. They went 11-1 against the Marlins. It's the Reds. They're 3-1 on the season. That's early. The Cubs are 1-3. Maybe not going to be so good this year for the Cubs, but they do have Dansby Swanson on a long-term deal. They lose 7-6. It's the Giants all over the White Sox. They win 12-3. The Mets got absolutely blown out at American Family Field against the Milwaukee Brewers. They lose 10-0. And then all the rest of these are underway. Again, the one that's probably going to be final is Braves and Cardinals. Braves have a 4-run lead. It's 8-4. Everything else still underway. It looks like the Orioles are up 2-0 against the Rangers. Rangers might get their first loss of the year. Tigers and Astros tied at 4. If the Tigers get their first win against the Astros, again, I have a receding hairline. I'm going to have to pull the rest of it out because it wouldn't make much sense to me. I felt like they were going to be 0-6 going into the home opener against the Red Sox. It's 1-1 against the Angels and the Mariners. 3-2 for the Athletics against the Guardians, and a 2-2 tie between the Diamondbacks and Padres, and nothing in the bottom of the first between the Rockies and the Dodgers. Do you have anything that you want to bring on the NCAA women's tournament? Because I'd love to hear it if you do have some thoughts.
Oh, yeah, I was going to get to that. And LSU beat Iowa 1-2 in 85 in the national championship. And I just wanted to get that out of the way because Caitlin Clark, what a run she has had on her way to the women's national championship. 30 points in the title game against LSU, and LSU, their size is really pretty much neutralized Iowa throughout this match, scoring 1 or 2 points. The pace of this game felt like it was scoring in an NBA game, to say the least. And let me bring this up. Angel Reese, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. 6 of those rebounds were on the offensive end of the court. This is a really good performance at the women's national championship game, and I gotta respect the effort from that. The thing is, people have been same gesture as Caitlin Clark did,
Yeah.
the John Cena, you can't see me gesture about that. But the thing is, if it's not disrespectful when Caitlin Clark did the gesture, don't call it disrespectful when Reese does the same gesture. That's all I ask of people for that.
You know what? When I look at that, there's no fiber in my body that can disagree with you, and there's no rebuttal to be had. You made the correct statement when you say that. But the one thing is, everyone else on social media wants to police something or think of a situation that's not there. Look, when Caitlin Clark does that, I understand a certain situation and all that. There's taunting in the game. She knows in that side of it. Again, she understands this. When it's on the other end for Angel Reese and she does it back, Caitlin Clark knows that she's going to have to take it. And she did. She took it like a champ. But for everybody else on social media, and again, sometimes that can be much of a fairy tale type of place, Alec. It's not really real life when it comes to how you interact with people, or if it is. That's a very sad state of affairs here. But yeah, they tried to find a situation that wasn't there. Good job for Angel Reese to go ahead and do the same damn thing because she owned that game and dominated. And you want to give a little taste of the medicine back? I love it. And as you said for Angel Reese, she's only a sophomore. That's incredible.
Maybe we can see something like this as a potential WNBA rivalry should these two make it into the big league. Well, I don't know about that, but maybe a rivalry would make things a little more spicy.
Yeah, it needs to. And I think Angel Reese said it pretty well too. I saw one of her comments and she goes, I've always been really good at this game. All I needed was the platform to be able to express myself. Well, she certainly did the job. And hopefully, in the grand scheme of things, look, I understand a lot of them will go into the WNBA when they're that good. You will see Caitlin Clark. You will see Angel Reese. No doubt about all that. But it is about taking that platform, taking the next step, and showcasing your skills. And that was a hell of a national championship game that we had. And Alec, I dare to say it, and again, I thank you for being on the broadcast here with me, but that game's going to be a heck of a lot better than this one, it seems like.
I mean, so far with what UConn's putting up, if this continues, this might as well be another 15-plus point victory by UConn. And that's just unbelievable to think about, considering that there are only 4 of the other 5 teams to accomplish this winning games by 13 or more points. Michigan State in 2000, Duke in 2001, UNC in 2009, and Villanova in 2018. They went on to win the national championship. UConn can maybe join that list as well. Yeah,
they're going to be in rarefied air when it's all said and done. Then they got 20 minutes left to go to be able to get to that point. It seems like they're going to get there right now. Again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but in comparison to both what Alec and I are seeing, I think we're in lockstep on that regard. It's going to take a hell of a lot of changes for the Aztecs to turn this around. And quite frankly, I know we've been asking the question and throwing it around now that we're in the intermission here, the half. We kept asking, where are the Aztecs going to find it? And maybe they have something in the long range that they've used a little bit, but they've had nothing inside. They've missed layups. I mean, hell, even in the last game that we did, Alec, there was a storyline of missed layups, and that seems to be happening again. This UConn defense is stifling.
I mean, yeah, the 5 missed layups. That's something of a glaring issue that they should look at between Brian Dutcher and the coaching staff and the players as well.
Yeah, you got to find something. Whatever kind of prep that they can use in the locker room. Look, these players have played so many games. They know what it's all about. They know what's at stake. But there's got to be some kind of magic. And that's the only other way I can describe it right now. For the Aztecs to turn this around, they would need Kawhi Leonard's services to make me believe.
I mean, the unfortunate part is they don't have it right now. If only they could grab a time machine to do that, because, man, he's going out with the LA Clippers right now, trying to get them to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I always wondered whether or not that Paul George Kawhi Leonard combo would work. The only question is, can they stay healthy? Because those are two-way demons. When we're looking at the tail of the 2 halves, in between a first half differential and a second half. Here's the interesting part. In the Elite Eight, they were down by 5. In FAU, they were down by 7. Tonight by UConn, they're down by 12. Every single time in the second half, they went from a +5 to a +8 to be determined. And at this point, Alec, they would need to at least be +12 to break even. I think that's going to be a tall task against this Huskies defense.
Very tall task indeed, because this is not Creighton you're facing. This is not FAU you're facing. This is UConn. And this is nothing like a team that you have ever faced before. Not even Alabama could attest to this. Because when they really shut down Brandon Miller to effectiveness against Alabama. UConn has everything that you need in a college basketball team. Offensively, defensively. They're the most complete team in the nation. And they're a 4 seed that's not playing like a 4 seed at all.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because after we had our coverage and I was writing the game story and trying to think about some points from everything that we took into that game, that's kind of where I fell on it too. On that side of it, when you have the outside shooting of a Jaedon or a Calcaterra, when you have a Seiko on the inside, and everybody else just seems to know their role. Hawkins on that side, Jackson's been played pretty well over the last couple, getting some fast break opportunities and dunks. You're right. I think UConn is one of the more complete teams. Here's a funny Twitter quote. Every team Charles Barkley picks loses. He must have taken San Diego State today.
Oh, he's got the sombrero with the San Diego State color or so. That may have been a sign that he thinks San Diego State.
As we're still waiting in between Brian Gumbrell, Jay Billis, everyone else right now, we should be getting ready to the second half shortly. We'll just give you a quick little number reset while we have the time. 36-24 is your score. The Aztecs, this is a miserable shooting percentage. Not so bad from 3. 3 of 11 for 27%. It's not great, but it's not horrible. But the field goal shooting is combined 8 for 28, 28%. And for the Huskies, they're shooting 50%, 15 out of 30, and 3 of 8 from deep. The only thing that the Aztecs have done marginally better, and this is a small straw to pick, is the free throw shooting, where they have 5 makes to the Huskies 3. There hasn't been a lot of free throw attempts to come by, but really, again, I'm just grasping at straws if you want to pick at something good, because it's 6 steals for UConn, 3 blocks. That's more than the Aztecs have, and the Aztecs are supposed to be the defensive machine. So we'll have to find out if the Aztecs can make any sort of adjustment. Again, 32-6 on the year. It's been a fantastic year, but it just seems like at this point it might be coming down to an end.
It feels that same way as well. 8 for 28 on field goals, and those main field goals for 11 straight minutes is not going to cut it.
Right. We've seen a stretch in which 11 and a half minutes for the Aztecs, they did not score a basket, only had a couple of makes. They went 2 for 4 at the line in 11 and a half minutes. No field goals made in that time. Absolutely insane.
Wow. It's just, if you think about that, it seems San Diego State looked lost throughout that first half. I was absolutely speechless when they couldn't even get a single field goal for 11 straight minutes, and UConn was just straight up dominating and play brought that time span, both offensively and defensively. You pointed out the 6 steals and 3 blocks. Just that shows that UConn's defense not to be taken lightly, as we mentioned throughout.
No, nothing's been an afterthought here for UConn in this game. They've had complete control. I know the Stanley Cup playoffs will be getting underway in a couple weeks here, Alec. As we get close to tip-off here, do you have any bar down Selly Hards upcoming or any plans for playoffs?
Well, nothing has been planned as of yet. I could make a comeback for bar down Selly Hard playoff edition for the final push for the playoffs here. But we got the wild card races intensifying up both in the East and the West. What seemed to be clear control of the first wild card for the New York Islanders now has become a multiple team race between them, the Penguins, the Panthers, and what do you know, the Buffalo Sabres.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to be able to see the Sabres make it. I didn't expect Florida. I would have lost my money if I was a betting man to fight all the way back. Maybe they'll be the one that takes it. Who knows? We'll find out. When I do get into the point, when we get to the playoffs, I will have my first round predictions and breakdowns for the games across for the 8 games, and I'll have a show on YouTube and Twitter Spaces for that. I'll let everybody know once that's done. But as far as the rest of this week, it'll be plans tomorrow. I will be covering Calgary and the Winnipeg Jets. Calgary will be playing off the back-to-back against the Blackhawks. They will play the Jets, and that's going to be probably whoever wins that game might be the one that goes to the playoffs. If Calgary beats the Jets on Wednesday, they will own the tiebreaker. So if they end up with the same amount of points, they can get into the second seed and take it away from the Jets. And then Thursday will be Quinnipiac in Michigan, and then Saturday will be the national championship game on ESPN2. So that's my docket for the week.
You know, I might come along for the national championship game men's ice hockey to join you on that.
I would be happy to have you there on that side, Alec. Again, we will see what ends up happening. If it is Minnesota and Boston University, I'm probably going to need a little bit of help on that. I'm going to have to rely on your expertise. I know you have a lot more than I do in certain situations on that side as far as prospect comparisons. I'm very familiar with Minnesota and Michigan from the Big Ten side of it. We saw a lot of them on the Team USA side when they played against Canada in the World Juniors. When you think about Logan Cooley and Jimmy Snuggerud and some of those other pieces, selfishly, I'm hoping for a Minnesota and Michigan national championship because I'd love to watch that rematch again.
Oh, I would love to see a Minnesota-Michigan national championship as well. Just think about this. Logan Cooley, Jimmy Snuggerud, Matthew Nice, Brock Faber, and this name, Jackson Lacombe, who's possibly your second best defenseman in Minnesota, up against Adam Fantilli, Luke Hughes, Eric Portillo, Mackie Samuskevich, and there are other names there, Dylan Duke as well. Think about that for a moment. Though when you look at these other teams, Boston University, you got Jay Pandolfo as their head coach. His first year with his alma mater, after spending most of his NHL career with the New Jersey Devils, and then being an assistant with his hometown Boston Bruins. And then Quinnipiac with Yaniv Peretz in goal and led by Skylar Brindamore, the son of Rod Brindamore.
That is very awesome bloodlines. You're going to be very excited for Thursday and Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And if I have time on Thursday, then I'll be able to cover that. I could cover the Minnesota and BU game because on Thursday, that's when I move out for the Easter break. I don't know if I'm going to cover that in time because my last class is at 1:35. I may get out early, so as soon as the class ends, then I'll have to get moving in preparation for this game. Get moving.
Well, make sure whatever it is, my friend, don't overwork yourself because I know how hard you work, how excellent hockey coverage that you provide, and all the coverage that you do. I'm just always glad that you're able to join me on this and we can have some fun.
Anytime. So looking here, all the misses by San Diego State, and most of them in the paint. Goodness gracious. Not an ideal night for the Aztecs inside the paint. They look to turn us around here in the second half. And I'll say this. This is also Jim Nance's final game calling a March Madness game. He's still doing football in the Masters, but this is the last March Madness game.
I wonder who they're going to use to replace him. I didn't know that, my friend.
They had Ian Eagle, Kevin Harlan, and Brian Anderson, and the three other broadcasting teams. I wonder who's going to be the fourth guy after this. Oh, no!
A missed dunk there for Hawkins as the ball goes in the backcourt. That was unreal. Now he's going to get an opportunity for three. And this one gets picked up by the Aztecs. You don't see a blown dunk very often. He was all by himself.
I mean, he was ready to take off like a rocket. Speaking of taking off like a rocket, the group for Artemis 2 is in attendance, and San Diego State with the answer to the other side.
Man, that was an amethyst level ankle breaker on the other end for 2K as he took down the Huskies defense, and Bradley cans it from 2. As it's a big-time basket for San Diego State. Look, they opened the first 7 minutes, and they scored or forced 3 minutes, and they scored like gangbusters, but they couldn't get a stop after. Sanogo gets the basket as Bradley tries to put this back on the floor. He needs a pass outlet as he lost his dribble. Here's an opportunity now for Mensah against Sanogo. He's trying to get around a battering ram right now. Bradley thought about the 3 against Jackson. I'll try to shoot it in his face. Miss it off the front of the rim. Hawkins trying to relocate the rebound, but Bradley will corral it. And San Diego State will get another possession. That is much needed. There's a screen for Mensah now at the top of the key as he's got it. He's going to leave it off now here for Mitchell. Almost lost the handle. And now Mensah couldn't find the pass. Tried to save it out of bounds. They do. This will stay with the Aztecs, but that looked a little uncomfortable.
I mean, one of those shots was really uncomfortable when you look at this, because that shot from tight end coverage, I feel like I was just saying that the guy just said, well, I'm just going to shoot this and hope for the best. Despite me being in tight coverage, I'm just going to shoot it and hope for the best.
And that
looks like that shot.
And that's not what you want to hear. You called that perfectly. Here's a battle at the rim. Speaking of hoping for the best, trying to challenge against the big man, but this will stay with the Aztecs again.
What's that? Another missed layup for the Aztecs? Isn't that like 6 now?
It's starting to add up, Mr. Alec Nava, on that end. So Butler is going to get a chance to inbound this. He had Hawkins jumping in his way, and he's going to have to call for the TO. Good harassment on defense for UConn.
I mean, UConn, there's a foul call. Timeout is being called right here. I'm not sure who called it here, but
it's going to be an opportunity for Brian Dutcher. They were going to get a inbound violation. They couldn't get the ball in time past Hawkins' defense. So we'll take a media break. 18:04 in the first. Again, San Diego State, they opened the scoring, but UConn, again, with some stifling defense in the Sanogo basket inside, it's still 12, 38-26.
It's just getting ugly for San Diego State. We'll carry on to that first half. 6 missed layups, and you add on to those 11 straight minutes without a field goal. And San Diego State, this is not a single-digit deficit at halftime that they're facing in the last 2 games. It's a double-digit deficit that you're facing. And against this UConn team that's managed to put their opponents away rather quickly, well, you're going to have to find a way quick.
Yes, you are. And I'm looking on the back end of this box score on the ESPN side, even off the bench. Here's how it sounds just off the bench. 0 for 3 for Arop, 0 for 1 for LeDee, 0 for 3 for Parrish, 0 for 3 for Seiko on that end. No bench points, and they've had 10 shots.
Wow. Not a single player on their bench with a single point. Yeah, all the scoring has come from their starting 5. And just 1 point from Mensah, who we noted as one of our X factors at the beginning of this game. And just 1 point to show for it despite 4 rebounds.
And look, I want to make this clear because I agree with Alec. When you look at 6 points and 6 rebounds for Mensah and you say, why would he be an X factor? It doesn't sound like a lot, but Alec, it's about matchups. He was the one that had the matchup with Sanogo today. Even if you can't put the ball in the hole, you got to stop Sanogo from getting the job done, but he hasn't been able to do so.
Not at all, and considering the circumstances of this game,
right.
This is a win-or-go-home game, and that applies to any one of these 6 games that you're going through in March Madness. What do you mean, the first 2 rounds, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4? It's a win-or-go-home game, especially in the grandest stage of it all. And Mensah, 7.6 points per game, averaging, and was he Mensah 6 and 6? He's a 6 and 6 guy. And so to see him get that just 1 point, I don't know what to say about it. I can't really describe it.
No, it's everything that we point to in between the bench production with nothing and 0 of 10, 1 point for Mensah, that's going to spell that the Aztecs are going to be going home. That's really all you can say right now. There's so much time with 18 minutes left to go in the second half. But They averaged 26 bench points. Here's a perfect stat. They averaged 26 bench points. They got a bagel.
Yeah, 26 bench points, and you go 0 for 10 shooting from the bench on the night. This is not what you need if you're the Aztecs right now. Gotta get your guys going. They're coming off the bench.
So Mensah, you try to pass this one back out. This almost got deflected. Now here's an attack at the rim. And that's something the Aztecs can use, Alec. They draw the foul with Trammell.
Yeah, you're drawing the foul there, and something that you need right there to try and rally yourselves back in this game. Those 7 missed layups right now, I've been counting this. That's 7 right now after that, even though you draw the foul. So you get 2 shots to try and draw yourselves back.
So Darrion Trammell, he's at the line. He makes the first. He gets an opportunity to make the second. And again, I'll bring this point up. If he makes this, San Diego State, with all of their struggles, as he does, they're still only down 10. I talked about this with Alec in the first half. Would you take that, considering how many shots you missed? I think San Diego State would, but now they've got to be able to just try to create something here in the second half. The problem is they've been able to find it all game. As Hawkins, he needs to move the ball. Hurley says, move it around the perimeter here. And now they're starting to get into it. Here's a chance for Caravan for 3. And that's an answer that the Aztecs don't want to see.
Not at all, especially when they cut the lead down to 10 points and on the verge of a single-digit deficit to get Caravan wide open for 3. And Caravan's one of their better three-point shooters. You do not want to get him wide open.
Butler tries to answer. Mensah with a great rebound effort and a foul on the floor against the Huskies.
Yeah, to get that board and then draw the foul, and this is going to go against Sonogo here because that was a hard contact there when Mensah was going right down, and something for San Diego State to get right back here.
When I'm looking at Sonogo on that end, that is just his first foul, but it would do them well to try to get him in trouble, get him out of the game, get something to feel good about. Here's another opportunity off the rebound. That was Johnson with the take of the rim. Caravan says no, and this is picked up now by Watson. Watson can essentially slow it down if he wants to, as the defense is already set here for San Diego State, and now it's Jackson. And up the pass from Hawkins. Now Watson. Now Sonogo at the top of the key. Shot clock down to 10 as he gets the screen. Watson's got it now, tries to get around the rim. He loses it in between the legs, and a foul is picked up on the floor.
It's going to be against SDSU as UConn, once again, driving to the paint, trying to get this in.
So it'll be a sideline out of bounds here for the Huskies. They're up 41-28. John Henry with you alongside Alec Nava. We're at NRG. Caravan's 3. Missed it off the front of the rim from the right wing. Opportunity to go left to right here for San Diego State. Off the dribble. Rocket back. Pass inside up the wraparound. Johnson with a wild opportunity. He does draw the foul. So the one thing San Diego State is doing right now, Alec, they're getting to the line.
Yeah, they're getting to the line here. That's one part. The other part is, what are you going to do when you're trying to get the points? That's the thing I'm all worried about, trying to get the points right here.
Yeah, you've got to take what you can get right now and then convert it on the other end, as Alec astutely pointed out, because we just haven't seen it. So Keshad Johnson makes the first. Going to try to make this a 41-30 contest if he makes this. Again, for Johnson, I'm looking at his averages on the season, about 7.5 points per and 5 rebounds. They're going to need all of that right now. In fact, the Aztecs are going to have to push well above their averages if they want to make a push in this game. He knocks down both, and it's an opportunity now for the Huskies to take this right to left. Again, they are in the white jerseys with the black and red piping. It was a full court foul that was picked up against Trammell.
Oh, there's also that.
16-11 left to go in the second. 3 fouls here for UConn in the second half, just 2 for San Diego State as Newton has it. At the Final Four logo, leaves to Jackson at the right wing. He'll step out, look for an entry pass for Sonogo. Quick hook and hit, and this one's going to get picked up against Mensah. Sunogo just went right at him and he won the battle.
Yep. And Sunogo being all that tough and strong on the inside and then getting the N1. No, it's not an N1, but yep. Despite that, he had drawn the foul.
He draw the foul. It was too much of the hand contact from Mensah, and Sunogo trying to push 230 pounds out of the way, and he does make the first free throw. If he does get the second, it'll be 43-30 with 16:04 in the second.
Yeah, 16:04 left in the second, and yeah, there's also that.
So UConn now up by 13. They are 16 minutes away from their 5th national championship title in school history. Sunogo, with another cool 11 points and 6 rebounds, doesn't elect to take the three. And now here's a tough floater attempt that gets blocked. Tried to get saved by the Aztecs down the lane. Johnson gets the basket.
Something that San Diego State desperately needed there. They cut it down to 11 right now.
Newton. He's being hounded on the right wing side, and he'll look to back it out as the shot clock gets to 15. At Houston at NRG Stadium, it's been all Huskies. The first made layup of the game for the Aztecs comes from Johnson before Newton draws the foul.
And something that UConn wants to do in order to stop the bleeding right here, not exactly stop the bleeding, what am I saying here, but stop San Diego State from going on a run here. But and UConn doing everything possible to hold on to this lead and dictate the pace of play as they have been doing throughout that first half and here.
Yeah, and as you said, even though, let's just say and be honest, if you can't stop everything San Diego's going to try to do as far as pushing, you know they need points, they're going to be desperate, you might not be able to stop them from getting all the points as they finally got a made layup by Johnson. On the other end, what can you do to combat that? You can go ahead and go to the line with Sunogo, punish them in the paint, and convert from your free throw side. So you know you're going to get that push. If you're UConn, I like it on the other end. Mash the ball inside, force fouls, and keep that lead.
Yep. And yeah, because UConn, whether it be on the inside or the outside, they can attack you from the inside. When you shut that down, they're going to attack from the outside. Mm-hmm. So what do you do really if you're San Diego State if UConn can attack it from both the inside and the outside?
They're a Swiss Army knife, and as you talked about from the beginning of this, and I thought you made some great points as far as UConn, despite being a 4 seed, again, we've said, I think it's in name only, they feel like one of the most complete teams in college basketball. When you talk about Calcaterra, the 45%, when you talk about some of the other big men in Caravan that can shoot it at a 40%, when you have Sunogo, I think when you have Dan Hurley, who's honestly, I will say this, Alec, from what we've seen, not a lot of sloppy play from UConn in these last couple of games. This team seems to be well coached. They know what they want to do on offense. They know where to attack the opponent, and they're very successful at it.
Of course, they are successful at this. They know everyone their opponent's weakness, no matter if it's as low as a 13 seed or as high as a 3 seed.
Yes, and if it comes down to it here for UConn, when we talked about their amount of double-digit wins going into that just before the other day, it was 4 straight wins of about 15 points or more. If they can get anywhere close to that against San Diego State, I dare to say, again, this would be off the top of my head, and I'll have to make sure I do some extra research for this for the story. This could be one of the most dominant runs all the way to a national title ever.
Yeah, and that's realistic and not out of the question.
Yeah, you just don't see too many teams just constantly smoke by 15 each time. I mean, you look at the way that they've gotten there. Iona, St. Mary's, Arkansas Razorbacks were a good team that were supposed to give them trouble. And then Gonzaga, you know what you drew Timmy and Mark Few and everyone else could bring. And they got destroyed by 30 points or more on that end. So it's just who's next in line? Take the hammer and knock down the wall. That's all that's left right now. They're up by 11 with 15-19 left to go in this second half. We've said this all night, but it has to be said again. Where is San Diego State going to find the offense? It took to the 16-minute marker of this second half for them to make their first layup of the game.
Oh, man. It took until the 16-minute marker for them to make the first layup of the game. For a team that likes layups, this is less than ideal for San Diego State. And then there's the first free throw by Tristan Houston.
So Jackson gets an opportunity to get another one here. He'll balloon the lead back up to 13 if he can make it. He does. So UConn's been very efficient at the line. That's going to be a little bit of an improvement from their previous game as far as that they were shooting about 50%. Now they're 7 of 8. San Diego State 9 of 11. 2 of 5 field goal shooting in the half for UConn. 2 of 7 for San Diego State. 3 of 13 from the game from 3. 4 of 11 for UConn. Great defensive contest by Jackson, but still, what a make from San Diego State from beyond the arc. They're back within 10, Alec, but can they get past the threshold?
That's what I wonder here. And for San Diego State, that's their first bench points of the night.
And again, that was at the 14:45 marker on that end. So you're talking about knocking down your first dominoes of the game late. Caravan's pass was a little lazy to Sanogo and then turned over. Hawkins. Now Jackson, top of the key three, airballs it. And this is picked up by the Aztecs. Again, they're within 10. Can they get within single digits? Right wing, fake the three. Now put the ball on the floor. And this is a charge call the other way? My goodness.
I think it's a push-off. So it's going to go against San Diego State for that offensive foul.
Wow, that seems like I need to look at that one again, but good defense by UConn nonetheless. But that is the last thing that you want if you're the Aztecs. Every time we talk about getting within 10, it's either going to be missed shots or turnovers. As Jackson brings it up the timeline now, right to left in the second half. Here's a pass across right wing. Jackson. Now Sanogo doubled. He doesn't step across the baseline as Elene moves it around. Good ball movement. As this is a bullet pass. Sanogo draws the foul. He's going to go to the line to shoot a pair.
The one thing that you don't want if you're San Diego State is to have Mensah go into foul trouble. He already has 3 on the night. You do not want to foul him out, especially in a game like this.
And as Alec just mentioned with that, when you take Mensah out of the game, the Aztecs do not have size to be able to compete with somebody like this. And then Sanogo already with 11, 4, 6, and 6 rebounds. That doesn't sound like a dominant stat line, but for college basketball, when you have the outside shooting and you have your big men doing enough to open up the outside shooting, UConn's got the Aztecs right where they want them. And if there is any sort of foul trouble for Mensah, they'll just keep going back inside to Sanogo as Mensah takes a seat.
And being Mensah, and they're going to sit him after taking a free fouls. So they're trying to prevent him from getting right into the foul trouble that has been pointed out beforehand. So he's the tallest player on this team. Following up with him is Jaedon LeDee, who's 6'9", and then Aguek Arop, who's 6'7". They have several guys who are between 6'7" and 6'10", but they're depth bench players.
Yes, they are. And LeDee is more of a shooting guard, small forward. He's not going to play on the inside of it as this is picked up. And this will be an opportunity for Butler. He got to make something happen. Here's a three that missed off the front of the rim. It was a good contest by UConn. We've said that a lot in this game, and it continues to be said because they've just played great defense. They forced the misses. Here's an opportunity. Left wing wide open, and this is picked up by the Aztecs. Now LeDee will get a chance. With Butler as he goes in between the legs. Off the jump stop, he has to force something. Tries to draw the foul. That was just an ill-advised opportunity. And now here off the run out, Calcaterra, as this is getting pedal to the metal. And they bowl down Arop on the other end. I think Calcaterra is going to go to the line to shoot a pair.
Oh, Dan. You talk about going to shoot a pair here, and then we look back at this way. Caravan was driving right through, and, well, Dutcher was like, man, I can't believe this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He was like, as Caravan drew the contact from Arop, and now he's headed to the line for 2.
Yeah, he was none too pleased. And again, thank you for the correction on that. That was Caravan that was able to draw the line. San Diego State, they already got 7 fouls, so UConn going to be in the bonus, and they're going to pretty much be away from the 1-and-1. They're going to be shooting 2 free throws here pretty quickly on that side. So when you're talking about everything you don't want, Sunogo is going to go ahead and get a quick breather here. San Diego State's in real trouble right now. They really are.
I mean, and to say that they're in real trouble here, up against this team, well, they just got that rebound off the missed free throw. They got to score points quickly.
Yes, they do. Arop now looking for a pass outlet. Here's the fake trying to get around Klingen. Off the miss of the front end. Rimmon trying to be corralled by the Aztecs. And they're going to pick up yet another foul. That's LeDee.
And the last thing that you need for San Diego State, they're already running into foul trouble here. That's been a recurring theme for them throughout the second half. Already 8 fouls throughout the half. And something that you don't want to see for San Diego State.
And Alec, this looks like a Black Friday mall phone booth as far as trying to find space inside the paint, space from 3. Jackson going to go to the line to try to complete the 1-and-1. He does, so he's got another one coming. But that is to say, everything that the Aztecs are trying to do, UConn's countered all of that. They play defense beautifully.
They have been.
So Jackson, Newton makes both, and this is an opportunity now for Hurley to be able to get some signals out. I think he's going to go ahead and give Newton a breather here, like he already did with Sunogo, just to make sure the starters are fresh. This is not a call off the dog scenario with 12:40. You just want to make sure your starters maybe get a 3 or 4 minute rest before they're thrusted right back into it before a closeout. What a block on the other end by Hawkins, but this will fall back to Butler. And now this gets tipped away. This will be picked up against by Jackson as they deny Arop the pass in the post.
San Diego State was trying to get that mid-range off, but UConn was right at the shooter's base, and Hawkins said, "Nope, you're not getting it by me. You are not getting it by me."
Absolutely not. It's swarming defense with the Huskies now. They've even been able to trigger some of these sideline inbounds as Arop has to catch this at the Final Four logo. That's the center that's going to go all the way out to picking up the 6'8" of him. Trying to get around Hawkins off the screen, off the step back, and now LeDee put the ball on the floor, try to hook and hit this one, and Klingen, he's not going to like it. He had his hands up the whole way, but LeDee draws the foul. He'll go to the line for a pair.
Oh, and Klingen's not going to like that, so he was trying his best not to get the foul right there on blocking that shot. Well, the unfortunate part is that he got contact.
Might have got a piece
or
of.
Did he?
I'm wondering myself if he got a piece of the left cheek or something like that, because I didn't see it, Alec, on that end. He had the hands up. So LeDee's got to take advantage of this. Again, he does not have any points. He averages 8. Right now, he's sitting in a bagel with one more at the line.
Oh, and his hometown of Houston, Texas, needs to break this scoring slump if you're LeDee here.
You got to. And again, I know I shouldn't say this, but I feel like I'm going to anyway. If you're San Diego State, you might want to spread out the heavy artillery and start firing, even for a team that's not known for threes. You got to be able to spread out this UConn defense somehow. 3 fouls against Trammell, 3 against Mensah, and 3 on Klingen. That's the foul trouble situation as a line A. He'll make the floater and he'll draw the foul. He didn't make it, but he did draw the foul, and this will go against San Diego State. That's going to be their 9th of the game in the second half. And we go to commercial break with 11:56. UConn in cruise control right now, 49-38.
49-36, and they're not. And San Diego State already at 9 fouls. So one more, they'll be over the limits here, and UConn will shoot the rest of the way here. This is not an ideal situation for San Diego State, already sitting at below 40 points. It's not the position that you want to be at.
No, it's not. And I'm glad that I adjusted my sightings when I said up the second effort. I thought it'd be first to 60. Then I recalculated and said first to 50. Right now, UConn's at 49 points with 11:56. The question remains whether or not San Diego State can even get to 50 points. Right now, that seems lofty. They'd still need 14 more to get to it while they're already in foul trouble and 11:56 left. So we keep talking about during the commercial breaks if there can be any sort of adjustment here for the Aztecs. We've tried to profile between inside, outside, some defense leading into transition opportunities. Hell, when they've got some transition opportunities, they've missed layups. They had 6 straight missed layups, as Alex said. And even in the 16-minute marker of the second half, it was their first made mid-range shot. So I don't even know what to say with all the stuff that we've seen right now. It's just been rough for the Aztecs. UConn's locked up as much as you possibly could in a national championship game, likely ever.
Very locked in. As much as you can see this, because this is as locked in as they have been all tournament long.
As it stands, 36-24 first half marker won by UConn. Right now it's 13-12 on the points total in favor of UConn in this second half. They're enjoying a 49-36 lead. When you look at some of the leading scores, it is a pair of 13s for Newton and Sonogo. Sonogo's got 13 and 6 boards. Newton has 13 and 7. That is great work by the shooting guard position of Newton to lock down 7 clears of the pumpkin. And on the other end, Trammell has 9. He's 1 of 2 from distance, 3 of 7 shooting. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, he's been the only really go-to option here for the Aztecs.
Well, and San Diego State needs to rely on him and their main guys to get things going for them, because nothing has been going their way throughout. And this is the first national championship seed match between a 4 seed and a 5 seed as well. Interesting note. 14 fouls as well. That's more than they have made field goals and free throws. And they have as many turnovers as field goals.
I don't even mean to laugh at that, but it's correct. When I see that on the screen, it just blows my mind. There's nothing else to say. As Naheem Aline go to the line for 2, and he makes it, gets the friendly bounce off the second, and all you can do if you're Brian Dutcher, I see that look on his face, Alec, and I think it says 1,000 words.
Yeah. Looks can have 1,000 words, and I think that may be the right description of what you can see on Brian Dutcher. And 0 field goals by either team in the last 3 minutes plus.
And that is okay with UConn right now because they are continuing to lock down San Diego State, not until they just hit a 14-footer, make it 51-38. Now here's a pass from Calcaterra there for Hawkins. As this is moved around for Jackson, Calcaterra pick it up off of a cutting Jackson, and he's got it now toward the right wing side. Here's a lob pass in there for Klingon. That should be easy work inside, and he's got a 5-inch reach advantage there as he kisses it off the glass.
Oh, there's the response by UConn as they're trying to bleed out this clock as much as possible. It's been a low shooting contest throughout this second half, though that's okay with UConn. They're trying to hold on to this lead. San Diego State's in desperation mode as they have made a 3-pointer.
Arop with the offensive rebound and a chance for Butler as he knocks it down. He played hero of a big comeback against the Florida Atlantic Owls. Can he do so against UConn? It's within striking distance at 12. We've said that a lot, but they've got to be able to get past the threshold. Jackson missed it off the front of the rim. This is picked up by San Diego State. Will they launch the 3 in front of the face? Yes, they will, Calcaterra, but that might have been an easy take there for UConn to say thank you. And this is an opportunity here for Jackson across the timeline. Again, in the white jerseys with the red and black striping, they're going to be going right to left. Calcaterra there for Klingon. Now down to 12 seconds. Hawkins trying to get around the screen. And this is a long three, and it's Cade Calcaterra.
There's the sharpshooter showing up at the right time. Joey Calcaterra, the 45% shooter. And UConn, the Husky faithful, all going nuts.
Ball down off of a cradle, and that was a tough finish on the other end for San Diego State, and they convert. It's now 56-43. Here's a chance now for Jackson as he has this across the Final Four logo. Here's the give and go for Calcaterra. Now Jackson down to 10 at the top of the key. He gets past his man off the floater. Calcaterra tries to get it. Klingon with the save. He bounces it back out. This does get picked up by Joey. Step back for three. Saved again. Here's an opportunity one more time for the Huskies. They can't convert this go around. As now it's the Aztecs with the ball on the floor. As this is passed inside off the hook, LeDee, and he finally gets on the board here, Alec.
Finally, it's been about time that the Houston native gets on the board here, and on that hook shot, right from center, he does so.
So Jaedon LeDee gets the hook. It's 56-45. San Diego State within 11. They've been within 10 about 4 or 5 times in this contest, but as Alec and I keep profiling for good reason, every time they get to this marker, UConn just pushes the needle out a little bit farther and takes the cookie away that they've been trying to chase all game, essentially. Now they're starting to run out of time with 8:33 left to go in the second.
And a timeout on the play as well.
So I will take another look at this box. Again, not much has changed over the last few. Butler with his 3, and the Raiders from the right wing now is the leading scorer for the Aztecs, as you would expect. Lamont Butler with 11. Again, it's still Sonogo and Newton with 13 apiece. There really isn't much to complain about because even when you look at the bench, Alec, they have 16 points for the Huskies, and on the other end, now the Aztecs have finally got their bench going. LeDee's got 7, and Seiko has 3. They didn't have anything in the first half.
This is pretty much the turnaround that San Diego State is going to need for the rest of this game. Got the bench score points here. So, and UConn being held to 4 for 13 shooting in the second half. They airball another. Uh-oh.
And that was Hawkins from about 14, and he was all alone, and he missed all of it. Sonogo wants the basketball. He's not going to get the call. There's going to be an opportunity for the Aztecs. And again, here, Alec, can they get this within single digits? They were down by as much as 16. As this is a step-back opportunity. Trammell's got it now. Dribbles this in between his legs. There's an opportunity for Johnson. And now the Aztecs do get within single digits. It's a 3.
Well, don't go away yet. This might get interesting.
A 7-0 run for Kawhi Leonard's alma mater. The San Diego State Aztecs force the steal. Off the run-up. Can they finish? Yes. It's San Diego State is only down 6 now because of Trammell.
Oh, this is the spark they need, and the crowd at Viejas Arena over in San Diego, California is enjoying it. They're all packed over at the arena right there. Can UConn stop the bleeding? It's been all San Diego State for the last 2 minutes.
What a tip by Sonogo from a Newton floater. That silences the run. It's now 9-2, but the Aztecs continue to push. They've got to treat UConn like the Florida Atlantic Owls. Here's a good bounce pass, and they draw the foul, does Johnson. He's going to go to the line for 2. And Alec, as you said, as we go to commercial break, that's the run that the Aztecs have needed. Have they left it too late? That's the question. 6:58 left to go in regulation. It's the Huskies up by 8.
Oh, that's what I want to know right here. Because beforehand, we thought it may be too late for the Aztecs to try and make a comeback. Well, they may have drawn up something over one of those breaks because Brian Dutcher's team has responded kind to this high-flying Huskies team. What was once looked to be a lead that could get out of hand really quickly has now become a manageable lead to surmount.
Is it fair of me to say, Alec, that essentially this run has felt like it's come out of nowhere?
It may have.
I'm just wondering on that side because for all the questions that we've had left yet to be answered, I think we finally have gotten a little bit of an answer, a little bit of heartbeat here for the Aztecs with 6:58 left to go in the game. Again, Alex said it's very manageable. It's 58-50. They're starting to make some outside shots. They're starting to force some defense, finding that push. And again, that's all you need because we talked about it in between UConn. They've had several leads of about 12 to 14, but they've never really put this game away yet, have they, Alec?
No, they really haven't. The thing is that they need to finish here, and San Diego State's really doing a good job at limiting UConn throughout the second half. And I got to give credit to Brian Dutcher and his guys on doing and responding in kind, doing so, limiting the 3-point opportunities, taking away the inside,
Yeah.
and putting up the double teams on Adamo Sanogo.
Yeah, they've done exactly what they needed to do. In fact, their 26 points that they have in the second half with 6:58 left to go is already more than they scored when they had 24 in the first half combined. They were outscored 36-24. Now they're outscoring UConn 26-22, and they're starting to make a run, and maybe we'll have something left to see with just under 7 minutes left to go in this national championship game. John on here with you on the play-by-play from Energy Stadium, being joined by Alec Nava, who I could not be any more thankful for as we take this in. He helped me close out the Final Four matchup between the Miami Hurricanes and UConn, and now we get to see if the Aztecs have something to say against the Huskies. It's a 9-2 run in the last 2:33.
Oh, yes, and that's what's making things very interesting here in the national championship game. And San Diego State, for all the adversity that they have faced throughout this game, an 11-minute stretch of no field goals. Their first mid-range shot coming with 6 at the 16-minute mark of the second half, and their first bench points coming at the 14-minute mark of the second half. All the adversity that they faced, and they look to throw all those narratives that they have been thrown with right out the window.
Oh, Keshad Johnson's got to knock that one down. And he missed one. He was going to leave some lettuce at the line. Because, Alec, you hit all those nails on the head when I talked about it. Would you take that if you're San Diego State, considering everything you faced? You were only down 10. And now it is a chance to get ever closer. 58-51. Really should be 52 on that side. But we'll play on. 13 of 15 of the Huskies shoot free throws. 11 of 15 on the other end for the Aztecs. Now Sanogo. Here's a chance for Caravan. And a foul called on the floor against the Aztecs. This will stay here.
And San Diego State is already over the limit, so UConn, no matter what happens, no matter what foul is called, they will head to the line shooting 2, and that's exactly the case.
So for everything that we just talked about as far as that foul trouble, the way UConn can throw a wrench into this thing is right here. It's the obvious. Jordan Hawkins make these free throws and push that lead and stop San Diego State from even making that run and getting close to you. And that's what he's got to do right now. 8 points, 3 of 7 shooting, 4 rebounds. Hawkins has 1 more.
Yep, and that's the one thing that you need if you're UConn, since as you're in the bonus plus, you can go and make all the free throws that you like whenever you draw the fouls, and Hawkins has both.
So San Diego State, they're in the midst of a run. It's about 10-4. They're within 9. Here's a chance at the rim. Great defense by UConn. They swarm that layup attempt from Butler and now can slow it down. Here's a chance.
Butler's arguing, where's the foul right there?
That could be a legitimate one, Mr. Nava, on that end, as this is picked up. Pocket picked away from Newton. Little casual with the basketball. Lays it in.
Oh, here comes San Diego State, and Butler, who was complaining about where was the foul call previously, he says, ball don't lie there. Ball don't lie.
So here's an opportunity. Newton off the pass. He'll get it from Elena. Now Caravan's got to put it on the deck. Aztecs, they're putting in that hounding defense. Here's an opportunity off the drive for Newton. Hook shot a little bit too short. And Keshad Johnson will clean up the mess. San Diego State, they were down by as much as 14. Make it 7 with the basketball now. 5:25 left to go in this second half. Will we need more? That's the question. Here's the give. Off the pass inside. Johnson thought about it. A very difficult hook. He draws the foul.
Oh, don't go away. San Diego State may need the points that they need, no matter if it's a mid-range shot, in the paint shot, hook shot, three-pointer, free throws, as is the case here. Any point they need to come back and beat UConn, they will have to get this right here. This is not some easy win. This is a win that they have to work for, and UConn is giving them the business.
Yes, they are. And at least San Diego State in this half, Alec is showing you that they're willing to put in the work, get to the dirty areas, and get to the free throw line. Johnson's got to be able to make both of these now. He split the pair last time. Now the Aztecs are within 5.
Wow. And to think that UConn won their first 5 games by combined 103 points. And now San Diego State is marching right back. And yep, they have been rallying right back. Their largest lead was by 4. UConn was by 16. And UConn puts a stop for the moment for San Diego State's run with a deep three.
There was Hawkins right between the eyes. And this one almost turned over. A jump ball. Here's a break opportunity in between the legs, and this gets turned over. I thought UConn certainly would have had an opportunity there, as that's a bullet dodge. And now the Aztecs got to get back within their offense. Looks like Keshad in the post. Missed it off the front of the rim. But San Diego State with another opportunity down to 4:25. They're down 63-55. Here's a couple of jab steps there. Off the spin, LeDee trying to draw the foul. He can't do it. And this can be slowed down a little bit here.
Chance to exhale for UConn and try and put this game on away. And you did mention, or we did mention about first to 60 points can possibly win this game. That's the case if UConn hangs on and avoids those miscues.
So Newton has got it now. It's a chance where Sinogali tried to Euro through the lane, and a foul called on the floor against the Huskies. As we go to break, it's 3:52 left to go in the game. UConn up at 63-55.
And the big question, if San Diego State can come back from down 16 and win here, just remember, Kansas was down by 15 last year against UNC and won. Anything is possible.
Just like Kevin Garnett used to say. As this is picked up now in the middle of the commercial break, we will get a chance to see what happens. At least Alec and I can tell you this. San Diego State has provided a little bit of that spark in the second half, because we can tell you honestly, this game was never out of reach, but San Diego State never looked like a team that was able to find the answer up until maybe the last 6 minutes so far of action that we've seen. Still got 3:52 left to go, however. Worth mentioning, UConn is in the double bonus, so it's going to be free throws the rest of the way for Hurley's squad.
Yep, that's also important. important to know. So San Diego does not have a foul to give here. So in the double bonus, if they do foul, then UConn will shoot as many free throws as they like if they continue running into foul trouble, San Diego State.
So I'm glad again that we've gone through the first to 50, first to 60. We kind of hit those monikers. I never thought, honestly, Alec, from the way that this game started, that first to 60 was even possible. That's why I scaled it back 10 points. But it looks like we might actually get to that now. For both of these teams, even UConn might get to a 70 spot. You might be looking at a possible 70 to like 62, 63 type finish the rest of this way. Don't quote me on that one, but that certainly seems to be where we're heading with 3:52 left to go in the second. Free throws will play a big deciding factor into that, as we've mentioned. But nonetheless, Alec, this has turned out to be a pretty fun game. It didn't start that way, but at least we finally got an answer here from the Aztecs. And no matter what happens, it's been a hell of a tournament for them, has it not?
Yeah, it's been a very fun tournament. Whether it be from this moment to the FAU San Diego State game, San Diego State upsetting Alabama, the Furman upset over Virginia, Princeton over Arizona, Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue, need I mention, or how about Penn State over who was it? I can't remember, but Texas did put up a fight against Miami, but it was all for naught as Texas, the number 2 seed, fell. And there's an overtime game between Kansas State and Michigan State. And I got to credit Tom Izzo for keeping his team in tight. Michigan State upsetting Marquette. And what people thought would be one of the national champions. But, man, this has been a fun tournament. No tournament in the future is ever going to top this one.
No, I think this one is going to be one for the storybooks. There's always storylines in the tournament, but as you said, even on the side of it between the Kansas State and Michigan State, that might have been the game of the tournament. As they showed Sonogo, he'll be one of the first players in a long time to have as many points as he does and over 60% field goal shooting. And let me just give you the scoring reset for Sonogo. So for 15 points and 60% shooting, he'd be one of the last ones to do that in over 20 seasons, it seems like.
As you mentioned about Sonogo, he's been quite the force this season for UConn, and a dominant one.
Not quite the same rebounding totals as I remember of last year of Armando Bacot, but certainly a big man that has been able to impose his will on the inside.
Definitely, when you look at the differentiation, but Sonogo, a dominant big man over in the paint, and he's been dominating the paint throughout this season for UConn. They are 17-0 against the spread in non-conference games. San Diego State looks to put an end to that and steal victory from the jaws of defeat. We'll have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see indeed as Tristan Newton makes both. UConn back up by 10. Again, as we talk about, every time San Diego State gets close, UConn pulls away just a little bit. This is an opportunity now. Got to go quick and got to have this one from 3 at the top of the key. That's a great looking rebound there on the other end as this gets a chance to get settled back down. And we will start over there as Newton can bring this one across the timeline. He's been excellent on the glass right now. He's got 8 rebounds as he's still able to bleed this time away for Hurley's squad. Shot clock down to 10. UConn 2:55 away from their 5th national title in program history, trying to go perfect 5-0. Newton with the drive and scores on the opposite end.
Oh, how about Tristan Newton? He's being the do-it-all guard for UConn, and as you mentioned, every time San Diego State gets close, UConn begins to pull away. And this is happening once again here. Another miss by San Diego State from 3 and UConn. Yes, you mentioned every time San Diego State gets close, UConn answers right back and pulls away.
And Newton is just continuing to bleed the clock away after yet another rebound. He just scored. He pushes the hand check off. He launches from 35. Sonogo's going to get an easy 2, or I thought he was. And a foul is going to be called on the floor.
Another foul by San Diego State. The exact last thing that you want if you're a San Diego State student, fan, whatever you are over at San Diego State, or whatever occupation you have there.
Sunogo is going to go back to the line. Chance for two more. Again, it was as close as about 6, 7 points. Now this could be an opportunity again to be 14. Sunogo, very good shooter for a big man at 75%. 5 of 6 in this game. He's got 15 points. As he makes it again, he's got an opportunity to make this a 69-55 game. And that was the run for the Aztecs about 5 minutes ago, Alec, but it seems to be snuffed out. UConn is going to take a hold of this thing.
And pretty much the Hawkins three-pointer may have been the dagger of this game.
That was a gorgeous shot for Hawkins off of that step back, and Sunogo cans another one. I absolutely love having a big man that can knock down free throws on top of getting you boards and points inside. You mix that alongside the three-point shooting. That's why UConn is so damn good. And this is a step-back opportunity for Trammell. He sticks the jumper, 69-57, and we get a timeout on the floor with a $1:55. UConn, a minute 55 away from the 5th national title in school history. A drive for 5, as they say.
A drive for 5 for UConn. And that, yep, as you put it there, San Diego State trying to fight. In the end, as is the case here earlier in this game, too much to not enough. And you mentioned about first to 60 being the winner. I think that indeed may be the case.
Yeah. I'm glad that we had pretty similar calls on that side. Again, when we have anybody on the broadcast, or if it's Alec and I, or Cooper, or myself, or just Alec, I know the way that we all work. We try to give you everything straight across the middle. We call it as we see it. We try to do the best that we can to call the game and let you know what we see and give you the honest truth. And it looks as though the 7.5 point spread to start the game for the Huskies was for good reason. They kind of controlled this game for the most part. And even at the points when it wasn't put away, as we talked about, they just made the Aztecs go ice cold for large portions of this game, so much so that it was almost 11 minutes before a basket in the first half. And when the too much to not enough, as Alec pointed out, that's a perfection statement. That's really been the story. And it's just, you just couldn't do enough to take out UConn. Again, that goes without saying. UConn is one of the best teams that we had left in this tournament. The seeding might not dictate that, but this roster construction and the job that Dan Hurley's done, you got to give him a golf clap on that end, because this team played very well.
Or maybe, yeah, this team has played very well. And Dan Hurley really doing an excellent coaching job over at UConn. I wonder when his son Andrew is going to come out onto the court, probably in the final minutes when this game, in the event it goes out of hand, because San Diego State is trying to get back the ball and force a 10-second shot clock violation.
And
never mind that.
Jackson to Hawkins. They beat the press, and he puts it in. Here's a three-pointer on the other end, too short out the front of the rim. Aztecs get another rebound, but they're going to have to let this go quickly. And a foul called on the floor, and this will stay with the Aztecs.
Yeah, even though they get the foul there, you're going to need a Herculean effort to try and mount an impossible comeback, because you're down by 14 with less than 2 minutes to go here. And the Huskies faithful back at Connecticut, they're all cheering along. Everything has kind of gone quiet over at Viejas Arena back in San Diego, but 2 big free throws here. Yeah, he's made the first one. Matt Bradley, I wonder about the second.
And I saw Klingham on the other end. He was giving a little wave goodbye. I'm not going to say it's premature, but you think you want to wait a little bit on that side until the clock strikes zeros. You'll have plenty of time to celebrate just then. That's just my food for thought. It's Bradley. He makes both. San Diego State within 12, but it's a $1.29. You got about 90 seconds left to go in this national title game. Beyond thrilled to have Alec Nava here with me as we take this game in on Monday night. Again, I will be back on Wednesday between the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames. Be an off day tomorrow with plans, but we take this one again to give you the game story when it's all said and done. I think a foul is going to be called on the floor of Keshad Johnson. They're going to try to pick it up and force UConn to miss some chances at the line. But if they even make one of these here, Alec, that is too much.
Yep, and already the student section down in Houston already fired up. I mean, I don't know how the students get tickets to go to Houston, or maybe they're just grown up. And I wonder, they're just trying to balance between their classes and this game. Probably go online and
yeah.
They may need to write a note to their professors on if they're going to miss class tomorrow because they're going to celebrate this win for UConn.
I think so. There's going to be some celebrations and some libations. Just hope that everyone celebrates responsibly on this end, but this should be a night that needs to be celebrated. Making both is Tristan Newton. Boy, has he been very good in this second half.
Oh, yeah, and coming up very clutch as well. There's another air ball by San Diego State, and yep, that might as well do it here. We're approaching the final minute. There's another intentional foul, and Jordan Hawkins is hyping up the student section in Houston.
The one thing I wouldn't do, Alec, again, I know I'm a little bit older than you at 36. I don't think I would partake in crowd surfing.
Crowd surfing. I would be very much afraid of what would happen if someone accidentally drops me if I go crowd surfing.
Jordan Hawkins makes the free throw. This game is all but over now, and it does look to be, at the end at least, the route that UConn was hoping for. Although the Aztecs, we can say this, all the way up to the 5-minute marker of the second half, they made their push. They got this within 6, but UConn was a little bit too much. Here's the press. Here's a baseline opportunity picked up by Caravan. And will the Aztecs foul? Probably not at this point. This is a chance for Newton. Caravan doesn't need to let one go. We'll see if Hurley's just going to let them sit on the ball. Probably the right decision to do so right now.
Yep, this is the right decision to make. And all UConn faithful up on their toes. On their toes in celebration. They got their hands up right in the air. Yeah, there's a layup attempt. That doesn't go, but that likely won't matter much. This game is over.
No, it won't matter much. And again, I'm just picking at straws. I don't think I'd be too happy with that layup attempt if I'm San Diego State. I know that there's shot clock, and that's the written rule. You got to play to the end of it, but just sit on the ball and take the turnover. But nonetheless, we will extend this here as Micah Parrish picks up the foul. Everybody jumping right now. Even Dan Hurley's getting on the action and saying, let's go. Everybody looking to celebrate. Again, Alec, thank you for being with me on this broadcast. This has been a lot of fun to cover the Final Four in the national championship game. I'm glad we could do it.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to be here with you, John. So much fun to cover the national championship game and the Final Four. Look to do it again maybe next year.
Yeah, we will see, and we're going to see if, I will say this, the Blue Bloods, even though UConn is a Blue Blood program, make no mistake about it, but will we get some more number 1 and number 2 seeds? Because they certainly bowed out early in this tournament. As you said, Alec, this one has honestly been one for the ages.
Yep.
75-59, and we have some more free throws left in the way of the 30 seconds left. This will be Jackson. And he misses it, but it really doesn't matter at this point. UConn has hit the 75-point marker, San Diego State 59, and there's an opportunity, as you said, Alec, go ahead and get the coach's son in here right now. Get all the bench players in, play in the game, celebrate, and level on it because you're going to be in the history books yet again.
Etch their names on that fabled trophy.
Yeah, that's a heck of a celebration in between Hurley and his players and Caravan and Sonogo there. You can feel the emotion. I will say this again, I understand what UConn has as far as their roster construction and recruitment. That plays a lot in college basketball and any collegiate sports. When you have the players, you can get the job done. But I will say this as far as Hurley, it's been a master class on that defense. They did a great job. In these two games that we've been able to cover on that side, I noticed that a lot for UConn. Their defense was excellent. They had the shot making that they needed. And oh, by the way, Sonogo, he's been that powerhouse on the inside as Hurley's firing up the crowd now.
He sure is. And he's so happy and elated about it. Oh, he has his players, and they're all in celebrations here. All smiles for Kemba Walker's alma mater. The reserves are out there for the final seconds here, and there you go.
So a 3-point opportunity, and that is going to do it. When we get down to the actual final, it was a little premature on the CBS side. We still have 5 seconds, but we get to dribble it out, and that's Hurley's son on the other end. And that's going to do it. The 5th national championship in school history. The UConn Huskies take out the Aztecs 76-59.
The emotion right at UConn's bench and the reaction that Hurley has, and I think of the student section in Houston, and winning their 5th national title in school history for the men's side. If you combine that with the women's titles, that will be 16 in total. A 16-1 record among both men's and women's cumulatively. And for the men's, that's 5 titles in a span of 24 years.
That is complete domination, Mr. Alec Nava. When you read those numbers across, if you're telling me, even on the men's side, if I can get 5 titles in 24 years for as hard as it is to do to get in this tournament, to get all the way through to the field of 64 and go all the way in, that is complete domination. And the drive for 5 is indeed alive. UConn etches their name in the history books one more time. Alec, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to get out of here and write the game story, and I will probably check back in with you on the Thursday side and between the Frozen Four between Quinnipiac and Michigan.
It's been a pleasure having you here with me as well. And, man, can't wait for the Frozen Four between Minnesota, BU, Quinnipiac, and Michigan. How about that? This is going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun weekend, the fun rest of the week. Everyone else enjoy it. We will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.